What's up, everybody? Hope all is well. Listen, we're doing a morning conversation today. Come on in the room. When you come in, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure if you're new to this channel, unlike the other channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and share the video and join the family, okay? Like with anything, make sure you guys come on in and say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Whatever. Got my sister. She's coming on in just a little bit. I want to just put the little content disclaimer out here for the people who may not understand. You know, these are our personal thoughts and opinions and things that we don't know. We do say allegedly because we don't have full facts, but we do have facts. Make sure that's clear. And anyway, so make sure you guys come on. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Also, the conversation that we're having today is leading up to, let me take this off so you guys can see me. Conversation that we're having today is leading up to Wednesday, and we just want to talk about sexual abuse, okay? Sexual abuse and just what goes on, the reality of victims, and how, you know, people try to shame the victims because they don't believe it because they've never been through it. But anyways, we're going to talk about this today. Also, if you're not subscribed to OnlyFans to get updates on this weight loss journey, and it's so sexy body, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Go over there and join onlyfans.com/KingJives show. Also, that's where I do drop tea that I can't drop anywhere else. That's where I put all the good information and everything like that. Who is this? What's up? Good morning, Miss Ravonda. How you doing? And let's get ready to go. Bring my sister on just a second. Miko.
Hey, boy.
All right, so we was talking this morning, and we just decided to go and make this public. You know how how can I say this? How people that deal with sexual abuse, they go through this stuff, and it's like people make them feel shame because this is what they go through. Because I showed your status, and it's like they have so much crazy negative things to say about the people because they don't really believe it, you know. And so we're gonna go ahead and just start back from there and everything. But I think even like with these victims, it doesn't matter what age they decided to come out and tell it. It doesn't matter that they didn't decide to be secret. It doesn't matter if they didn't like it or did like it. Whatever the case may be, the thing that we're dealing with, and you dealt with it too, with certain pastors, with a certain pastor, is manipulation and abuse. Now you could have did like everybody else or some of these other people and just went on about your business and never said nothing, but you decided to say something. And I think it's crazy that even you saying something. Look how long now. If you go back and look at some of the comments that people are saying, "Oh, sister, I've been praying for you." That's so wrong. But when we first said this, not only just we, but when you first said it, and then we teamed up and I said it, and we both were saying it, everybody was like, "No, no, no, that's a woman of God." But after all this mess is unfolded and we see the stupidness, now people are coming back saying, "I'm sorry, I've been, whatever, I'm praying. My heart goes out to you." It's the foolishness because now we have to see what you were saying in order to believe it.
It's sad, but it's true. That happens all the time, though, Demario. And I do want to say this, that when we discuss things as touchy as this, it is so important that we, as watchers, viewers, followers, be mindful of the trauma, especially the mental trauma somebody goes through when they actually experience something that they did not want to experience. That part.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to kick it off with how people feel when this dirty act is done, right? Have
Right.
you ever had sex, Demario? I don't know if because you don't even have sex. This is
I ain't
so
had none in a
crazy.
while, but go ahead. Go ahead. Put my little business
But
out there.
I
All
just
right.
want to kick it off. And I know there's some women that may have experienced this, but let's just start it off with a little joke. But it's not a joke, but it's real. Have you ever had sex with somebody? And after you had sex, you felt like it was a dirty, dirty thing. Like, oh my God, I don't believe I just did this. You don't feel desired. You don't feel loved. You just feel like you were just done in. You like, that's all you wanted. I know a lot of people probably won't admit that. But I can really surely relate to women because a lot of women feel that way. There's a lot of women that have sex with men, and as soon as they have sex, they think they're in a relationship,
Right.
but they feel dirty, right? That dirty feeling that you have, you got to imagine a rape victim or a person that has been persuaded to do something nasty. You got to know that they feel that dirty feeling the 50th, like on the 50th, power. So that like if you gave somebody permission to do something, but yet you don't feel good after sex, you feel dirty. Now imagine a person that has been raped, a person that has been persuaded to do something so nasty beyond their imagination. They feel dirty. That's the first feeling I want you to just sit down and think about. That dirty feeling will make you not tell your friend. It'll make you not tell your mama what's going on. Demario, do you remember when you lost your virginity? Were you able to look your mama in the face right away? Were you able to go right to your mother and say, "Hey, mom, I just bust a nut"? Were you able, or did you feel like a dirty, sleazy, like a something was going on? Just tell me the truth.
When I first lost mine, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be very honest with you. Like, I felt like I felt like I need to go somewhere and repent because I felt like I had quote unquote sinned and carrying on because again, that's what
Mm,
we know. Any type of you have
yeah,
sex and all this, you sinning and whatever. I mean, it was good, but I was just like,
you felt dirty.
Right, because that's what we was taught. Like it's like sex is nasty, it's dirty, you shouldn't do it, and the only way it's gonna be good is if you get married. And so that's what I was taught. So I felt bad.
Use dirty, like we ain't married. Like those things never cross your head. Like we need to do something about this. I'm glad you brought up the church because that's where I'm going with this.
Well,
Now
me,
I want you to
here's the thing
go
with
ahead.
that. I'm
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt.
No, no,
Here's
no.
like coming from a church setting. Honestly, everything is a sin.
Right.
You ain't at church
You
praying.
feel dirty, don't you?
Right. If you ain't at church praying and dancing and shouting and hollering and speaking in tongues and stuff and doing all this stuff and giving your tithe and offering, anything outside of that is a sin.
So you felt dirty, didn't you?
Right.
Okay, so anybody that has God in them, which everybody is born with, but listen to me, you got that dirty feeling. It's in
Hmm.
you. But people don't recognize the word in that situation. You know how God tells us not to do that unless you with you. You know how that, I'm not gonna preach to no pastor, no prophet, but isn't it funny that when we go outside the rules, we get this gut inside deep down in your stomach feeling of dirtiness. Do you or
Hmm.
do you not? Do you just stay right there with me?
You good.
Now imagine, I'm glad you brought up the church. Now imagine that you hear the word every day, you are raised in the church, you're praising God, and you are taught that everything to have fun basically is a sin. So now you feel extra dirty. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like
Mm.
it's on 50-50. Now put this on top of it too. You doing something nasty with the leader of the church. Come on now. I want somebody in the church to follow me on the psychological effects that this has on someone that gets something done to them in the church. I want you guys to truly recognize that. They're not normal. They're under a leader. They feel privileged. When you're under a leader, you feel like you getting closer to God. Nobody wants to admit that. But we say we don't give man power, but we give man a lot of power. And especially if you are a young person in the church. Everybody knows if you have children that children and youth are influential. Are they or are they not, Demar?
They're right. They are.
So imagine a boy. Let's walk. See, a lot of people's problems when they listen to stories, Demario, they don't put themselves in the shoes of the victims.
Right.
They never do. They never been through it. They don't know what that is. They can't. All you have to do is put yourself in their shoes. So imagine a young boy in a church loving God. All he knew was God. His mother take him to church every day. She leaves him with male pastors, hoping that her son will be raised as a standard and become another man of God. How many women do you know that are single that bring their sons to church? Come on now.
Hmm.
Is this not real? Is this not real?
Yeah, it's
So
real.
so now you got the young boy underneath the leadership. And I hate to bring this up, but it happened to one of your guests you had before. And he was in love with this leader. Period. Like it happens. People, and when I say in love, it's not a sexual love. It's a desiring to be close to them, to be under them, to emulate them, to be like them, because you were raised to respect them and honor them. And all of a sudden now, this pastor tells you to take off your clothes and get down to your tidy whities. Just think about that. Just think about that for a moment. So this act happens, whatever the act is, because nobody was in the room. Nobody who heard the stories, any story, nobody was there. But this person, this child, is getting something done to them. And now, if the parents are paying attention, there's a shift in their personality. But a lot of people don't pay attention to their kids. Look at the little boy that was building bombs in his room, and his parents didn't even have a clue. Yet he went to, what was the college name? Columbine,
Uh-huh.
and blew everything up.
Right.
You understand? Look at all the parents that have sick children in their rooms, but yet their parents don't pay attention. So a lot of parents, they get so caught up in the church, they get caught up in the leadership, trying to be somebody in church. They leaving their sons, they're not paying attention to their psychological change. So I could just imagine that young men that have experienced this have went through a situation where they got quiet because they felt so dirty. Do you understand where I'm going, DeMar?
Mm-hmm. I understand.
It felt so dirty. Now, to add to the situation, the person that does the act against them, they know it's wrong, but they choose to control them with threats, telling them nobody's gonna believe you if you tell somebody. Don't you tell nobody. This is between me, you, and the Lord. This is what the Lord said to do. I could just imagine what these men are telling these young boys and using these young boys for their gifts, to drum, to use all play all the instruments, to sing, to dance, to work. They use these boys. And these boys have been conditioned to be quiet for years. So when they finally wake up, God puts something in them too. Y'all forget that God works in mysterious ways. God sometimes wake his people up. And when they wake up and they finally realize, you know what, this is some bull crap. My life has been messed up behind this. I caught AIDS. I've been hurt. And they come out and they scream because they're tired. We as a people, we shame them.
That's real.
Why do we do that?
I think that's just in us, Miko. Like, and it's sad, but it's like we've been doing that since, well, probably before slavery time. Because
We
it's like
shame.
if somebody is hurting, okay, let's take it back to slave time. Like when the slave master did something or whooped y'all or whatever, or maybe he raped you. What is one of the women in the plantation gonna tell you? You better do it, Master Tater. You don't want to get no beating. You better go and do it, Master Tater. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like,
And use the Bible. And use the Bible. Remember
and
back
they
then,
use, yes, and
use
they
the
use the
Bible.
Bible. They use the Bible, and
And it
because
is, and that's been passed down. And if you look at it, that's been passed down generation after generation. Now, mind you, our forefathers and ancestors really didn't know how to read. We came over here, so comprehension was at its lowest. So we were repeating what the slave masters told us to only point out in the Bible. We got whooped. A lot of people don't know this. You got beat if there was any slave that taught outside of what the slave master told them to speak about. And they put that in, it put fear in our minds. So for years, us as Black people, now this is real, DeMario, we have been taught fear. So as you look at some of our leaders, they take the same attitude, the same approach, and they put it on their church. Am I lying?
you're right.
This is why a person like me can't be involved with churches like that. Because see, I've been said something like this situation right here. First of all, if I was in that church and the apostle, pastor, I don't know the names, excuse me if I said it wrong.
Mm-mm.
But if he had got up and unloaded all these accusations, I would have been the first person in the pulpit raising my hand. Said, slow down, pastor. Now, these too many accusations. First of all, what do you mean? Let's slow your roll. Wait a minute. But not one person in that crowd questioned this leader of all, I mean, not one accusation, DeMario, several accusations.
Hmm.
So you got a woman that's been used with money. You understand that right there. So when these brothers come out, I hope and pray that people are so responsible to just receive their perspective of what had happened to them in their life. Because when a person gets raped or persuaded to do things they never thought of doing in 1,000 years, we as a people, we don't have no business blaming them or shaming them. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'll never forget when we had that one guest and everything went left. And we were on there crying because I couldn't believe. But the ties that story had is why you had to let that go, because it became a full-blown circus. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he say, she say. You got people that love this person and they don't believe the other person. And a lot of leaders have followers that love them so much, their followers would damn near kill the victim. They want you to shut up so much. Don't you say that about my pastor. You a lie. You the devil. I can't believe people are so far gone that they will want to hurt the victim. But yet you weren't even there. You don't even know what happened. Do you really know your apostle? Do you really know your prophet? Do you really know your pastor? Do you really know? So we ought to be ashamed of ourselves when it comes to shaming victims, especially when people say they love the Lord. I'm confused, Mario.
Mm-hmm. Well, then it go to. I mean, what Bible says? How can the Bible say? God said, "How can you love me, who you've never seen, but your brother? You hate your brother, and you see him every day." Now that's kind of like a different concept. But how can you say that you love God and you're just like God, or you're Him, or whatever, or He's in you, and you're supposed to be a reflection of Him, but He is supposed to be a protector. And if you're within yourself, not don't even have no type of feelings about the well-being of somebody, to me that's crazy. Because I mean, if somebody's hurting, you ought to have enough discernment on the inside of you to be able to figure out if that person is lying or not, or try to get down to the bottom of it. Because again, if I have a child, if I have a son, and my son is hurt, not only do I care about him, but I'm gonna find out why he's hurting. And then if I can fix it, I'm gonna do my best to fix it. If he fell and cut himself or hurt himself or bumped his knee or whatever, I'm gonna do my best to clean up that wound and try to clean it up and bandage it as much as possible. But this is not what people do. They don't care about the hurting. They don't care about the person that just, they just been scarred and wounded and everything. They don't care about trying to heal them. They do further damage. Just like oh my God. What's that one pastor's wife? Kalina Fontenot. Just like with her. We saw the video of her getting beat. But you saw people in the comments section, she get what she get. She deserved it. She deserved it. Like, how did somebody deserve to get beat? I don't care if she cheated, if that was the case. I don't care if she did anything. No one deserves that type of abuse. And these are church people or just women, period, or sometimes men that tell these people you're lying. And if it did happen, you probably deserved it because you a hoe.
That part. That part. And that's a shame. You know. Yes, I remember that. That was a lady that had the phone on the mantle, and she was on the couch, and the guy dragged her. Was that her?
Yep,
In his
he
bedroom.
was gut punching her,
It was
kicking
more than
her.
gut punching her. That was that
Oh,
was terrible. And you know what made it terrible is that he was a leader of a church. And for you to get that mad to do that to your wife, it's, I keep saying this. I don't think people take their positions, uh, uh, I don't think they take them and try to be responsible with their titles. I don't know how I'm phrasing this, but people take that lightly. They, it's, to me, it's like a Facebook thing to call yourself a prophetess or apostle. Everybody's running around calling themselves something. And I'll never forget you said on your show one day that these people don't even have a building, yet they call themselves these titles. And it's like people are fascinated with these titles. So now you got these titles and you're just running around just loving the title, but yet you won't uphold the office. Because to be a leader, it states in the word the things that you should and should not be doing, period. So, this is why that's a heavy responsibility. So when you're a leader and you're doing something like this, what does that teach the men in your church?
That it's okay to do that.
What does it teach the women? That it's okay to receive that. Do you
It's,
understand? Like,
it's
she's
okay to
still the
receive it.
first
And if
lady.
your husband beats you or whatever, you just supposed to go somewhere and pray, and maybe God will change it. Which that type of stuff like that, it makes people not look at the situation, but look at God, who's supposed to be the higher power, and question him instead of taking the responsibility and putting it back where it belongs, which is the person that's not beating and knocking you upside your head. You need to sit up out here and check that situation. Because me personally, I'm gonna tell you like this. I feel like this. God is not responsible for all this stuff that's going on. Does he see? Does he feel? I believe he does. I really do. But again, just to stick with the abuse, if your husband is beating the heck out of you, why you gonna get mad at God and say, why would you let this happen? No. If you see the signs of what's going on, you need to try to make a difference. Now, again, everybody has different levels of strength. Some people, when stuff like that happen, they get scared, like, oh my God, wait,
Mm-hmm.
is he gonna hit me? Did you hit me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you said you'll never do that. You said, it's stuff like that. So, I mean, I think it's good that we just have people that we could talk to sometime and that won't blast our business around the street. And
And then
it,
there comes a time where the business needs to be blasted. Like,
yeah.
no, the real talk, because uh I am I don't know. I don't know if I may be saying this right, but this thing is more than exposure. I think God, it ain't no thinking. I know God knows exactly what he's doing. It came a period on the internet where everybody just started telling their stories. We can go down a timeline the last past 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
How so many people are just coming up out of the church and they're revealing what has happened to them. And church members are upset that you're telling the story. And you see this all the time when people break news. You even see the members of the church get online and try to defend the perpetrator, and then some defend the victim. Everybody takes sides. It's a human thing. But I was looking at, what your commenter, Ravonda Green, said and what you just said. And she had said in the comments, she says, when my daughter told me that her cousin, who was 13 at the time, and she was 6, was touching her, I took that very serious and went straight to authorities. I didn't play. I didn't back down. That's like, and it goes back to what you're saying and seeing the signs and having the courage. And Ravonda said, wait a minute, this is my daughter. I can care less if this is my family. And she did, when she states that she didn't back down, that lets you know that she had a struggle in this because it was a family. And sometimes people have to take a stance, and sometimes people do not see the signs, especially when it comes to their children. That right there, I'm telling you, a lot of parents, especially in this day, DeMario, all these single mothers, they got to work these weird hours of work, that don't have men at the house. They're leaving their older children to take care of the younger children while they're going to work. A lot of these cousins and family members come over. A lot of people won't admit this, but there's adults that's our age and older that have been in the house and sleeping over with their cousins and had freak sessions. Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Fingering, kissing, all this little goofy stuff that was going on because there's nobody really parenting. It's drop the kids off, put them all together because they cousins. And we fail to realize as parents, they're growing kids with hormone issues, and we're allowing them to be around each other. What you think is going to happen? So when stuff like this happens to our children, it's imperative for us to act on it immediately so it won't have a psychological effect on them, because kids will grow up thinking that they've been abandoned, that their parents didn't protect them, that their mother didn't protect them. And that's another reason why a lot of kids go quiet, because they feel like their parent wouldn't believe them. Isn't that something? It's
Mhm.
bad that the church won't believe them or
Wait,
the
you do
world.
you remember that video I posted
That's that part. The girl
about
got
the little
whooped.
girl
Yeah.
who got beat up by her mom? Like her mama just monkey stomped her, and the girl's in the bathroom going off and crying because she told her mother, like, this has been going on for a while. And sidebar with that, people question, why does it take you so long to tell? Well,
Mm.
there are many factors that go into why you ain't said nothing but until now. But anyways, the little girl was getting raped by her mama's boyfriend. She was getting raped by, I think, different family members and stuff like that. And when she finally told her mom, which her mom was a drunk and was dating a man that raped her daughter and her mom, and she didn't believe it. And so she beat up her daughter. So then this puts the children in a situation where, am I going to be believed if I tell? Are they
Mhm.
going to protect me, or are they going to try to further hurt me, further make me feel worse than what I do right now? But then, Miko, you can relate to that, because just like that Apostle DL told them boys, you young men at the time, if you tell somebody, nobody's going to believe you. Somebody told you that too.
Absolutely. I said that several times. I know you have new followers and people, but we're not gonna go down the line. But it's real. I dealt with one of the biggest prophetess in the United States, and when something happened between us, that was the first thing she said. You. And I looked at her like she was crazy. I didn't give a damn what she was talking about. I said what I said. Because we both know what happened. And when I saw the tactics that was being thrown my way to keep me quiet, it became lunacy. It became a whole big internet fight. It became something where people were threatening my life. Now that's serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where people threaten your life because they don't want the story out, or they don't believe you, but yet you weren't there. Yet you don't know this person. You know of this person. You look up to this person, but yet you don't know this person. And this is what a lot of people say when they come out and tell their stories. Like, hey, you don't know the person I know. That part. Everybody should know there's more than one side to you yourself. Everybody got one. There's a sexy
Mm-hmm.
side to you. There's a professional side to you. There's a protector in you. You know how we can go from 0 to 50 real quick and curse somebody out. Everybody got different sides. So sometimes what you see is not always what you get.
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, it's just like when this stuff happens, people don't understand, like, any side could flip on at any time. As strong as I may be, I have a reclusive side too, where I just want to shut down and go back in and don't be bothered. And as much as I can be strong, like, when certain things happen, I I fun of them. Some things we might be able to laugh about, but other than that, everything else is serious. When I told some of these people stories, we all cried for them. You know what I'm talking about. We all cried for them. And I believed them. Everybody believed them because, too many details and everything like that. And other people confirmed it. But These people, this is real, and we want them to be able to say what they need to say without going to hide or without having to feel like nobody's going to be there for them. So, with all of these people, I tried my best. Really, I have. I tried my best to make sure they felt like this was a safe place to tell their story. This ain't even, and I make sure people always know all the time. This ain't about likes, clicks, or views, anything like that. This is your story, and more people need to hear this so that sooner or later you wake up and if some little boy, some little girl, some woman, man, whatever is going through any type of abuse, you say something. If some don't feel right, you say something.
And I just want to insert right now to everybody that we're having this conversation prior to the big
Miko,
live interview. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Miko, you there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay, y'all. I don't know what just happened. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I hear you now.
I just wanted to insert by saying that remember, this is a morning conversation we're having to prior to the interview that's going to be happening or the interviews that's going to be happening this week. We just want to get everybody in the mood to have some of these, very, very sticky situations. And I just pray, Demario, for your victims as you invite them on the show and people all this week and in the future that your followers and people that are watching are kind because this type of thing it takes a lot of bravery to tell the story
Yep.
and a lot of people that's why they commend me and that's why I have a lot of followers and for about nine years on Facebook that's why I haven't been on YouTube. I've been utilizing the platform of Facebook and on Facebook I've shared so many stories about things that has happened in my life and I hated that God wanted me to come on live to tell these stories because when I started telling the stories, and this is what attracted JB, people started to relate to it. And one of the things that I tell people all the time is that I just try to keep it real. And when I say keep it real, I just tell my story without exaggeration. I've always asked God, why did you send me through so many things? If people follow me on Facebook, they know. Just follow me the last 4 or 5 years. They have seen so much happen to me, but yet I keep getting up to tell the story. The reason why I tell my story is because I want people to know that you're not alone. I want people to witness what it feels like to go through these things, but yet still be strong to stand up in your stuff and to continue in life. Because these situations will actually push someone to think about killing themselves.
Right.
They'll want to end their life. They already feel dirty. They already feel used, abused, and so many people have told them that they were liars and they're being shamed. So the last thing I want to be responsible for is to push somebody over the edge. You never know the battles that people are really going through when they're going through things like this and many other things. How close somebody is to the edge. That's just like that song. Don't take me close to the edge. I'm trying not to
Not to
lose
lose
my
my head.
head. Like that is real. A lot of people lose their minds with this situation. Now, what's so crazy about this, and it happened, before in Atlanta that these victims contracted AIDS. That's an issue,
Mm-hmm.
Mario. That's an issue. It's already an issue, but to walk away with a package that you cannot remove is also something you have to live with every day of your life. You already don't want to let the world know you have that because people look at people with AIDS differently as is, let alone the story on how they contracted it.
Yeah. I just this story, like the one I did, what was that Sunday
Hmm.
about strict was it strict Havar or whatever, Javier, whatever, Strickland. This man got his wife involved.
Hmm.
And he's sitting up here messing with the boys and is commercially sex trafficking these kids, and then watching some of the boys have sex with his wife and carrying on. So what's gonna happen with these boys when they get older?
Hey, that's just like now. You know what, Demario? We got to find the video. But I think about 4 years ago, we warned people. Remember, me and you were deep in our studies. I was in demonology. You remember this? Remember, we was just really studying the different demons. We was gone
Honey,
because
we
we
were
was trying to
studying
figure out
everything.
everything. But I told people this, and you told people there's a big demon upon the church. It's a sexual demon. It's a big old demon. Jezebel is one of the biggest demons. It encompasses all of that. That you can see and feel that Jezebel spirit on a male or a female. People don't know that Jezebel could be on a male or a female.
Mm-hmm.
It's a controlling, a manipulative, a sexual, persuasive. It's that y'all need to read this. And a lot of people, you probably have encountered someone with that spirit. Now check this out. The body is one thing, but the spirit it encompasses, the thing that you hold inside you, the thing that controls you, that moves you. You could be controlled by a spirit. It could be a godly one, a holy one, or it could be an evil one. And that's real. Some people operate in evilness. Period. God gives us all choices, though. We have a choice to follow that evil spirit because it's something inside everybody that tells you, don't do that. You know that's wrong. Everybody get that warning if you know God.
Mm-hmm.
It's in your head. You may think you're talking to yourself, but that quiet, soft voice, that's the Holy Spirit talking to you. But yet you choose the loud, rambunctious voice, the voice to tell you, get payback, kill that person, show them what we could do. You know that voice. We be rolling with that voice.
Because we want revenge on what happened.
We want revenge or get him. He looks good. Control him. Make him do. That sexual demon, incubus and succubus, is perverted in the church. Why is it that when people speak the so-called word, they're horny? They're so horny that
Mm-hmm.
they will do sexual acts with the same gender. They have a wife at home. Nobody's questioning these things. It's a demon. Did we not read a newspaper article from the Pope yesterday?
Yep.
He said that gossip is the true devil. And we know in the word, God tells us not to gossip. So, you telling the truth to Mario, it's a thin line. Remember, I told you a long time ago, it's a thin line between gossip and telling the truth. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I roll with you because you always tell people that come to you with stories, hey, I just don't report no anything. This got to be the truth.
Mm-hmm. I want to see if I can get that article too.
And the Pope said that people in the church need to be private about the sexual offenses that happen to them from the leaders in the church. I said, isn't that something? The Catholic Church that have been known for years
I'm
to
gonna post it.
fondle with little boys.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I'm
And
finna get it right
in the
now.
word, it does tell us it's three things to do with our transgressions. The word tells us to go to them in private. Then he says, if he does not hear you, then you go get two or three witnesses. And then God says, if he does not hear you, then you tell it to the church. And then he said in the word, if the church doesn't believe you and they hear you, then treat them like a heathen. It's
Right.
in the word.
It's right
It's in the word. And it kills me that so many people say they're leaders, yet you don't read that. So here it is. You probably have people that have went through things and emailed them, or called them, or said it in the office, Pastor, what we did last night. It wasn't right. I know, but you better not say nothing to nobody. He wasn't trying to hear them. What do? You go find two or three friends. You tell them the story. You keep it as quiet as possible. You crying to your friend and telling them what happened. And your friends are somewhat in disbelief. And they looking at you like, wait a minute. Now you go back to the past and you say something. He ain't trying to hear you now.
Wait, Miko, here's the article here.
Mm-hmm.
Pope, gossiping is a plague worse than COVID. And then he goes into this is part of the beginning. But the ending of the article says this right here. It says he was speaking about a gospel passage on the nature of the hypocrisy between private voice and public face, the need to contact others privately when they do something wrong. This fraternal correction in the Catholic hierarchy, that's it, has been used for the priests and the bishops to correct their actions and behaviors without airing their dirty laundry in the public domain. Survivors of sexual abuse of the Catholic Church have been previously noted that this ideology of private reprimand evades public punishment, allowing predator priests to freely abuse victims and supervisors to cover up their crimes.
That's the truth. So that's what I was speaking on. How the Pope says, hey, we need to go back to just being private. Don't tell it to nobody. So the people that are against it saying, hey, we've been doing this for years. People need to know, because what happens in private? They hush it up. They put it underneath the rug. They tell everybody be quiet. And so what happens is the victims have to live in shame. The parents, they don't know what's going on. So they bring them back to church. So you got to go back to the same church where your predator is at. And you got to continuously do this, because if you say something, you're going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it hard for us to believe that it took 10 years for somebody to come out and tell their story? Especially if they're talking about somebody in the church. Why is it hard to believe that pastors, apostles, and prophets are humans? If you take a needle and you poke them, they will bleed just like you. What was so hard with you believing that these acts happen? So that's why I said it's funny that the Pope said that, and the Catholic Church is on fire for molesting and raping and fondling with young boys.
Hmm. Nancy said, "I had doctor's papers, and the church still didn't believe." Hmm.
That's how it goes. They don't look. This is the number one question I would have asked if I was the member in the church. I would have been like, Apostle, you said a lot of things this morning, but one thing you did not deny was AIDS. Now, if these boys got it and you got it, can you care to explain how the hell did they get it? That right there would have been the number one gusto for me. Boy, that part, the Mario. What did
Hmm.
y'all do? Prick each other's finger and became blood, father and son, and had a club in the back. Tell me some, we can put your blood of your finger next to my blood. Did you do that?
Hmm.
So how is that hard for the church to put 1 plus 1 together? Because 1 plus 1 equals 2. I'm confused. So then when we as commenters and watchers, people that are not in the church and we're following the story, and we look at the physical reaction and the psychological reactions and the words that's being said as this apostle is explaining what's happening, you can see with your own 2 eyes that church is under an evil spirit. That man said, I've been accused of doing children's sexual crimes or something to that nature. Don't quote me, but it was right there.
Mhm.
And he said, but you left your children with me. Wait, I had to rewind it 5 times. I said, wait a minute, wait a
Like,
minute.
nigga, what?
What did you
So
just say?
that's supposed to make it even better.
That makes
So,
sense. How does that prove that you not the person? I'm trying to figure out what you mean. We left our children, which then he brushed into other accusations. I mean, like he was on a roll. Like this man had several accusations of sexual crimes. So you mean to tell me now one person in the whole church rose their hand and had not one question? Something wrong.
ain't nobody thought nothing wrong with it. Nobody thought to say, "Hey, I got some questions, Pastor. Now I hear you saying this, but if you say you stepped down, why did you step down? If you say these accusations, why would these people bring these accusations against you? Because again, like one person I see, it might be a little questionable. But when you got 5, 10, 15, 20 people coming out saying, this is it, or this was my brother, and I remember him saying this, and I saw something, and I just wasn't sure, or I saw a text message from you to them, and it just didn't look right. Like, okay, you can't sit out here and tell these people, you can't tell these people that they wrong.
No. And on top of that, Demario, this is the problem right now. This is why I love social media. Look, see, you gotta see God is so good, y'all. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. A lot of people in church, they don't believe in the phone and Facebook and all that other stuff. You got to be kidding me. It is so funny how God dropped a vision on someone in China to create a phone that acts as if it's a computer, to link up with somebody in America by the name of Steve Jobs, to make what you call an iPhone. Because the iPhones was the first one that came out with video cameras, all of that stuff, right?
Right.
So then now all the other phone companies have duplicated the cameras and gotten better and to compete with iPhones. So basically there's phones out here that are computers in your pockets. This is just not a phone, a cellular device to call somebody. This is something you can research on. This is something where you can fill out a job application on. This is something you can send an email to a whole nother country on. Am I correct, Mario?
You're right.
So God, this is God. Y'all don't see how it happened though. So all of a sudden, check this out, follow me now. All these years we've complained about racism and how white people been treating us. And all of a sudden it's getting video cameraed. It's getting on the phones. It's getting spread all around the world. People can't deny what they see with their 2 eyes. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Here we go. We now have pastors that's getting their stories and the covers being lifted off of them, and now the victims could tell the stories, and these stories can go from country to country, not from pew to pew. Now it's all over now, and this is why the pastors are going crazy, because they don't want nobody to tell this story, because they know when the story gets out, it's just not known in their town. It's getting ready to be told all over. It's so funny how God set that up, because see, he's tired of these leaders in the church. I kept telling them, I kept saying that. I said, y'all not seeing this. You can't put new wine in old skin. God's trying to do a new thing, and he's tired of you old people. You can't put old wine in new skin. It's in the word. People don't believe me. I'm the crazy one.
You ask
So,
the question, when will they get it? When
mm-hmm.
will they learn? You keep asking, like, when will this stuff stop? It may never stop, but you can take the initiative and the more be responsible and be protectors. Cover each other. Watch out for each other. You say, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. When I'm going through with somebody or something, or I'm hurting or whatever, like, where's my protection? Where's the person who's gonna rescue me? Not cover up the evilness that I'm doing, but tell me when I'm wrong. Come get me, like, hey, bruh, if you don't stop this, I'm gonna do the dirty work, and I'm gonna tell it because you need to
That's why
stop
I
it.
love your platform. And that's why I love your platform. And if people don't understand the pressure, the magnitude of pressure that you deal with on a day to day basis, choosing to use your platform to tell millions, it don't have nothing to do with person liking your video, Demario. A lot of your stories have hit the inside of some of these leaders. Trust and believe that. Yes, there's gossipers out here, but then there's you. You come out with their facts, you lay it down, you tell them where they're wrong, you give correction. Sometimes they don't like the way you give correction. You sometimes add some colorful language with it. And people that are of standard, they don't like those ugly words on their ears. But the thing is, old people, you can't put old wine in new skin because the demons that's out here now, they don't hear vocabulary. You got to get down in the gutter with them. See, you got to go down in the valley where they go. And it's people like Demario that go down in the valley. So we all know what's happening in that.
Down in the valley where the
The dead
dead
is walking.
naked. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
that gonna
The
repeat that
dead
one.
is walking. You can't reach the dead with extensive vocabulary and talk like you're better than them. You have to relate to them. You got to get to the core of what is wrong with the situation. And that's why pastors fear your platform because the story needs to be told. And victims do need a place, especially when the churches are saying they don't believe them. Now it's time to tell church. You go in private. If they're not trying to hear you, you bring 2 to 3 witnesses. If they're not trying to hear you, you tell the church. After you tell the church, you be
You tell the
done with
Lord.
it and treat them like a heathen. Because after I told my story, I was done with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, rape and I was going to share that, but it's a big difference between mental manipulation abuse because there's women that have been persuaded to do nasty things, foul things. There's men that have been persuaded to do nasty and foul things. If I could only be a fly on the wall, so many people's souls are hurting because they did so many nasty and foul things through the act of persuasion and mental abuse. And see, mental abuse is something that you don't see, just like witchcraft. So people don't understand. How could you just go and let that person do that to you? Why didn't you just get up and walk away? Why didn't tell somebody? But see, what you don't realize is how the mind works too. When fear sets in a mind, a person will shut down. They will pull, they will withdraw from life, Demario. You know how you could be here, but don't be here?
Right.
Psychologically, people could withdraw from life from things that traumatic happening to them. So when we talk about these subjects, it's so important to deal with it in a kind way. and be very mindful that people are going through something inside while they're dealing with the pain, whether it's the truth or a lie. We were not there. It's the fact that you allow someone to tell your story. Now, I don't believe in lies. I don't like it when people, because there are people. Now let's talk about this, Demario. Because I know a lot of brothers that are locked up for rape and things that they did not do.
Right.
There are people that will make up stories to get attention. Now, let's talk about that, Demario.
Uh-huh. What was that the year before last? I dealt with that story with Jasmine Elan. Now, this is real. This girl made up a whole lie, and that thing traveled, and everybody wanted him in jail. The man sat in jail, and then come to find out, the girl was lying. And the truth is, Mika, you kept asking the question, like, where the kid at? Like, where this at? Where that's at? And I was like, okay. And then I started asking questions. And because she's screaming this, everybody's believing it. And then we come to find out it's not true. You say something, hey, like they lying. Then I'm the one who gets picked on. I've been doing this for a while. She blamed somebody that wasn't true. We have those stories too.
And that story was something else, because we caught that story when it was happening. My daughter was in college and they have social networks on Snapchat. What's those other things? And so while this was happening, it became like a fire between youngsters. And I'm one of those parents that's on top of my kids' social media. So when my daughter sees things that's tragic happening on social media, she immediately sends me links like, Ma, something's happening to this girl. And so I'm looking at it. I called Mario. I'll never forget this. What time of night was this?
I don't know. It was probably like 12, 1 o'clock. He was like, no, God.
And when we saw this, we were just in awe. We didn't know what was going on. We even believed the reflection of a pill in this cup. We was like, man, that might be a pill right there. We didn't, what I'm saying? We was going through so many emotions with this. And stuff didn't add up when I saw her come back on the stage and twerk. I said, wait a minute, I'm a rape victim. I don't know about that emotion coming back in unless she was high. Did something really truly happen? Because if you got penetrated and it was hurtful, like she was screaming or, like she was moaning on this video, I don't think you have time to do, I started questioning things and that's what we did. And so again,
All of that, but then it was so like, it made you think like, wait, what? Like you just was on the floor drunk and I mean, this was happening right before our eyes and we just started looking at everything. You're out here trying to help me. And then next thing you know, you're back in the club doing splits with no drawers on.
And then so you have people like that, Demario. As I look down in the comments, baby sis, Nay, hey Nay, I love baby sis. She's so cute. And the reason why I take a liking to Nay, and I try to make sure Nay sees positive influences, because I'm not gonna tell Nay's story, but Nay is in the comments and she's shared with people. I don't know if nobody has caught it, but she says you'll never be the same after something like that happens to you. Nay is a quiet person. Her circle is tight. Nay is very skeptical about anybody that comes in her life because you can see something has happened to Nay. And Nay is dealing with it and healing from it and growing like a butterfly. Nay is so pretty. She's coming out her shell. So it's a lot. It's a lot of Nays in the room, Demario. It's not just our little sister. It's a lot of women. It's a lot of men that have had things happen to them and they'll never be the same. But it's because of Jasmine Elan's and other women that have played games with the system and lying on men and saying these crimes have happened when they never happened, is why people don't take rape victims and people that have been through abuse, through manipulation and persuasion,
Now
they don't believe them.
that's the truth. That be one of the main reasons why people look at victims and say, "Oh, child, they lying," because they've seen and heard so many people cry wolf.
Hmm. It's just like some women when they call the police. I'm in Chicago. It happens all the time. I got a couple of clients that are police officers. They talk about this all the time. Always going to the same address. The girl always hollering that she's being abused, but then when she get there, the girl doesn't want to get him arrested. Hey, on P Valley, the last episode on
I
P
was
Valley,
about to say that. I was just about
it's trending right now. And listen, I would advise anybody that doesn't even know anything about the sexual street life, the sexual street life.
please watch P Valley.
Please watch P Valley to catch yourself up to speed to how people think. Because a lot of people think they're just the devil. No, baby, a lot of people got stories behind how they get caught up in these streets. However, in P Valley, I really recommend people to watch that. Uh, what's baby girl?
Mississippi.
M crooked letter I, crooked letter, humpback I love Mississippi in there. She was a beautiful girl. She has raw, incredible skills to climb a pole. Now, a lot of y'all may say, Miko, why are you talking about no, baby, let me tell you something about the pole. It doesn't mean the person is nasty. Any woman you see that could fly around a pole is an artist. It takes incredible strength to get up there. Now, if you choose to get naked on a pole, is a choice for you. But in this movie, remember, this is a series, y'all. It's make believe, but this is pretty much
It's
people's
real
lives
life.
on the streets.
Life, though. Right.
Right. This pretty much somebody's life on the streets. She was getting abused by her man so bad that it got carried to the club. And the bouncer Diamond witnessed it and he confronted him. Now, mind you, Diamond is falling in love with this woman for who she is. You could tell he wants to be with her. And he got tired of seeing her being abused. And he tried to, well, he did. He was beating the stuff out this man. But M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter, humpback I, pulled out a gun ready to kill Diamond for protecting her. There's people that get abused, Demario, and will protect
They're
their
abusers.
abuser.
And you know what? That's what exactly what's going on with um this situation with old boy, with DL Dupree. You got a lot of men in that church and some women who are protecting him.
Absolutely. They
They'll
don't see.
say they know what is being said is true, but they're going to protect him because for whatever reason, maybe it's something mental that's just it's just intertwined and they feel like, oh, he's going to love me forever, or there's no other man like him, or some weird crazy thought in their head. They're going to protect him. I know, I've seen this before. These type of people get in these people's heads and they will fight you. That person may be molesting them, raping them, and whatever else, but because they didn't got entangled up, they're gonna protect that person. Oh, he loves me, but he's abusing you. He loves me.
Okay,
And
so I'm gonna tell you a story. This real stuff. I have a best friend. That's my everything. Remember, she just got out. Remember, I told you that, right?
mhm.
And she was in there for earthing her baby daddy. Now, mind you, this was my best friend, and when this thing was going on, I saw the signs, and I started checking my friend. Like, bitch, is this nigga hitting you? You know, she was one of those have little bruises on her, come around and hide stuff. You know, this real stuff, and you'd be surprised. It's just not in the movies. This real stuff. But because she was hiding it and telling it and protecting her baby daddy, she didn't want nobody to know she was getting abused. It boiled over where she didn't. She, you know, she denied it, but she knew she was being abused. It boiled over to the point where she snapped. She couldn't take it no more. And before you know it, nobody was there to save her, help her, anything. And she ended up in jail for a very long time. And that's why, that movie or that series, I think it's on Lifetime, it's called Snap. That's real. And sometimes you'll find people that are in these situations and they will defend their abusers and they know they're going through something and it's gonna take one incident and they gonna snap. They're the most dangerous ones to be around. When you find people that are protecting their abusers, like M.I. Cricket letter I, cricket letter, humpback, she gonna probably end up killing him herself.
Right.
Because that's what happens.
Because she going to get tired. I
She's
mean,
gonna
she's
get tired.
already tired. She's already tired, but it's like, because when I saw that surprised me. That surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was just like, when I saw her pick when I saw her pick that gun up, well, actually, I think she had took that gun from Haley. She
Mm-hmm.
took that gun out of Haley's. Matter of fact, I remember it now. When her boyfriend told her to
Yep, she showed
go,
her the gun at the top. Mm-hmm.
uh-huh. When her boyfriend told her to go get dressed and to have your ass out there to the car, when I get out there, she went to go get dressed and got that gun. So I do believe
Yes, DeMario.
that
Yes.
I'm thinking, I'm rolling now, I'm going in now. Oh, yes. That she had some inkling that she was going to have to hit that man, that she was going to have to pop him.
Absolutely. And that's what happens. And DeMario, listen to me. Which is somebody that's listening now that is going through that now. Believe this. There's people that's going through so much. We're humans. Every human that come across your life, whether let me tell you something, they come in the form of your mother. I hear you, Nay. They can come in the form of your father. They can come in the form of people that you are taught that they're supposed to be safe. Nobody's really safe unless they've shown you they're safe. There's mothers on the internet, Demario. You ready for this? You
Come
ready
on.
for this? You ready for this? I want everybody to watch your ears now. And I want you to Google it. Mother and daughter kissing and having sex. It's
Hmm?
all on Facebook. It's a mother and a daughter, and they black. And
Oh,
they wear
God.
racy clothes and short shorts. And they kiss each other. And for real, they kiss each other and they do things to each other. It's all over. Mother and daughter. But the daughter will do anything about her mama. She comes on and she said, I love my mama. I love my mama so much. Mama, give me a kiss. Tongue kissing her mother.
Now that's nasty. Ugh.
But look, how many people could tell this young lady she's being abused? Did you understand? Like the psychological effect it has on people.
Nay, send it to me so I can see that. I don't even know. I really want to see that, but go ahead.
They're in a relationship, Nate. Absolutely. They're in a, you could Google it. It's a black, the mother is light skinned. And I don't even watch it. I'm talking about, I found this out like two years ago. And it's a thing. And they get lots of views for this. And there's people out there that are sick in the mind that tap hearts and love it. And they keep motivating them to do it. So you don't, just like fetishes, Demario. Sexual fetishes. Let's talk about that. Church don't want to talk about that. Just because your pastor is married to a woman, how many people have seen old couples and they'll look like they having fun? They just married. Yeah, a lot of them are just set up to just look like they're holy. But you don't know that that pastor may have a fetish of watching porn. Like, what's that boy name that's the
Kurt
singer?
Franklin.
Kirk Franklin. He had an issue with porn so bad, but look at what he's become. That man ain't straight. I don't care what nobody say.
Hmm.
But he won't share that because he loves the Lord so much, and he
No,
can't
he
live in
won't
his
share because
truth,
it'll mess his money up.
and it messes money up. And a lot of pastors can't live in their truth. So I'm going back to this, or how this couple is sitting there in church. We're married, but they're not having fun. Because guess what? Some people have weird fetishes and the church don't want to talk about it. There's some men that just like to look at feet. There's some men that want to just look at your elbow. No, it's funny, but you'd be surprised. That's why I tell women, if you got a husband and you truly love this, you better find out what he really loves. Because in this day and age, with so much sexual pervertedness going on the internet, on the shows and in the movies, people are influenced psychologically.
Hello,
Did you hear
Miko.
me?
You went out. You
Can
went
you hear
out.
me?
Okay, I
Can
hear
you
you
hear me?
now. Yes.
Okay, somebody try. But people do sexual perverted things. So guess what? Now we're gonna get into this because see, people. The first thing church want to do is throw verses at each other. Thou should not say something. Let's talk about the root of this issue because this pastor needs counseling to find out what is your fetish, boy. And a lot of them won't come out and say, I just like men. That's what they need to, and they need to just step away and just live their life. But a lot of them won't do it because the church money is good. It feels good to have power. It feels good for people to say, yes, pastor, and come to you for instead of you living your truth. So you are running around psychologically, mentally abusing your wife, mentally abusing your kids, and mentally abusing your church underneath your sexual fetish lie.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Hold on.
real talk, Demario.
I'm,
It's people that want to have sex with animals. Did you know that?
yeah.
No, this not church don't want to talk about it, but you'd be surprised. It'd probably be a pastor that like dog or like cat. You'd be surprised what people really think about when it comes to that. Now, why do we always run to sexual fetishes? Because your adrenaline is rushing. Sex does something psychologically to the body. It makes you feel desired and wanted. It makes you feel loved or something. It gives you some euphoric feeling mentally. So people do anything to the extreme to get this feeling when they're not truly loved. Let that sit on you for a minute. Why do you think there's so many women that are young girls that don't have fathers or don't get love from their mothers? They have sex with so many people. So you think it's because they woke up and wanted to be a hoe? That's what we call them, right, Demario?
Right.
She's a hoe. But have we ever really thought about the root of the issue on why she's having sex with so many men? To chase that euphoric feeling, to chase that adrenaline rush that somebody loves me, somebody put their arms around me, somebody did something to me. And if it means just getting penetrated, I'll take it. And a lot of women just take that and they equate that to be love. You'd be surprised, Mario.
No, I'm not really surprised anymore. Yeah, there's so much crazy stuff going on. It's just like, okay.
But it goes again, a lot of people that are listening to stories, they have itchy ears. They just hear the surface. And if you have God in you, you want to see the God in others. You want to know what happened. If you're not saying that when you hear somebody talking and sharing their story, you need to just reevaluate what's inside you. If you're not compelled enough to have compassion to care for someone and say, I'm so sorry that happened to you. What can I do to help? I'm going to pray for you. If you're not feeling something in your soul right now to help somebody that is screaming, I've been hurt and I don't know how to get out of this and I'm angry all the time and I don't know how to change my ways because something happened to me. I'm telling you right now, if you as a person cannot hear the child in that person, something is wrong with you.
I'm gonna pull this up so that people can be able to see this. This is crazy.
You see it, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Oh no, she didn't use the white version. She said if Vertasha and I were a white mother and daughter, same sex couple, it would be encouraged. Baby, oh, okay.
DeMar, you thought I was lying? We don't do nothing but bring the truth. You're gonna learn today. Thank you, Nate, for looking that up. People would have thought I
Thank you,
was
Nate.
crazy. Thank you, baby Nate. But check this out. Nate's on top of that too. See, people that when we're out here, we go through things. We search the internet. We're looking, we're listening because we're trying to learn how to cope with our issues. It may not be the same issue. We may not have sex with our mothers, but some women have dealt with some abuse with their mothers, and they're afraid to say it. They're afraid to say it. I know what that is. I have a daughter of my own. I know what it is to take out frustrations when you are a single mother and you've got to raise your kids and you can't be the cookie cutter mother and speak to your daughter with loving words all the time. I know what it is to not have money to feed your kids and you got to protect your kids and take care of them as a mother. So I know the mother's perspective, but I also don't understand a lot of mothers' upbringing with their kids, putting their daughters in positions to get raped by their boyfriends, putting their daughters in positions where they don't care for their daughters and their daughters are doing strange things for some change and they don't pick up on the signs. It's a lot going on. It's a lot. So these stories, Demario, are needed. People that do decide to share their stories, it's important for us to open up our ears and understand what a person went through, and not only that, for someone that may have went through that similar, know how to cope with it, know what to do, because some people are so scared they don't know what to do.
Here's the article. A mother and daughter lesbian couple named Vertasha and Mary seeks acceptance of their tattoo romance.
Taboo.
Uh, taboo romance. Hold on, let me go to the next one. She did a tweet, which is this is the daughter. Why am I explaining myself? After is this the mom or the daughter? Oh, Vertasha and Mary. So they have a joint Twitter account. Why am I explaining myself? I love my daughter. She loves me. We have been in a committed relationship for 2.5 years now. And are you? Wait. And then hold on. Um This is just kind of explaining what's going on. And then Vertasha said, which is the daughter, I, Vertasha and I, I'm sorry, this is the mama. Vertasha and I knew we were attracted to each other when she was 16. Mary Carter said, but we decided to wait to have sex until she was, this is so disgusting, till she was 18, legal of age. We are now going public with our relationship to help others who might be in gay mother and daughter relationships. That is so wrong. Feel confident and okay about coming out. We want the world to know we love each other as mother and daughter and romantically. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's go to this one. If Ratasha and I were white, mother and daughter, same sex couple, it would be encouraged. Once again, white privilege. Ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. That no, no, ma'am, no, no, no. That's not no. You can't. Oh God.
Talk about sick. So what I'm saying to you is, here it is. Let's get to the root of this issue though, because people would look at that and look at the surface like that's just a sick. Okay, so my mind went left. Like, what made her do this? So somebody in the comments, I think it was Nancy, if I'm not
Nancy DC.
mistaken, she did say, she said somewhere she spotted something. See, that's the God in her working. She said a man must have hurt the mother. See, if you're not questioning how and why these things happen, you got something wrong inside you. Something did happen to this mother here. And something happened with this girl too, her daughter. For her to be mentally abused to the point where she thinks that her mother is her mate. You understand what I'm saying? Like that
Hey.
That is sickening. When we say sickening, it comes from a root of something. It's probably they've been abused too. You got me? To the point where they don't trust nobody else but just them. That's where they got to. They got to the part where I don't trust nobody, mama. I don't want to be with no man. Me either, but me either, baby. I just want you. I just want you. I can imagine what they said to each other. They don't trust nobody but each other. So they devoted their life and they physically and mentally abuse each other to believe that they belong together because of the trust issues they have with men. A lot of women turn to be lesbians, Demario, whether you know it or not, especially the straight ones that go gay. It comes from a lot of abuse from men. How can you that's why I don't bash LGBTQ, because everybody got a story. How could you tell a woman that has been raped and abused by men so many years that being gay is wrong? She may have only found safe, safety within a woman. You got what I'm saying? Because mentally, psychologically, she's been messed up. She has serious, severe trust issues with men. So somewhere down the line, there was a woman that came and became a friend. That's how it happens to Mario. And she was acceptive and she started to share her stories with her. And the
Mm-hmm.
girl was acceptive of her and showed her love because mentally she only had room for anything. It could have been a kangaroo to Mario, as long as it wasn't a man. But sometimes they end up finding a female. And in this case, she found her mother, or the mother found her daughter. And in a lot of women's cases, they it be their best friends or somebody they've been friends with for a long time, or somebody they met. That's how it happens. Trust issues be the core, along with the abuse. And then look, if they came out and told their story, they've been shamed. So that pushes them further and further
Mm-hmm.
away from being normal.
That's just like with these young boys in the church. Like they get shamed, like shamed, and that's on, and they're only telling the truth about what happened to them, but they're shamed.
Hmm.
And it's like, how you gonna shame me? And this is my truth. This what happened to me. This what me and the pastor did. Like you can't like come on now. But that I'm telling you, Miko, I be seeing this stuff all last week, this week. I'm getting sent screenshots of people just going off on these people,
Look,
cussing
just
them
like
out.
the story that you just brought up. Here it is. The woman is getting set up with young boys to have sex while the husband, the pastor, sits back and watch, right?
Right, right.
Check it out. How do we know that he didn't have an erectile dysfunction? A lot of men have ED. He probably had a short penis. Some happened. Some. See, you got to really ask what's going on here. Now I know it sounds sick, but let's talk about this. Why does she need to have sex with a young boy? Because the pastor ain't throwing her back out no more.
But yeah.
Listen, the
Well,
fetish.
you know
You
what?
don't
That
want to
makes
talk
sense
about that.
because
You
if
don't want
that
to talk
is the
about that.
case,
You
if
don't
that
want to
is
talk
the
about that.
case, if that is the case, maybe that's how she got pregnant. If that's the case, that's how she got pregnant by one of the boys.
Check it out. You don't know what goes on sexually behind the doors. Now we had somebody that tore off some sheets and told everybody that you could do anything in the bed when you married. That is not true. You're not supposed to bring nobody else in the bed with you and your husband. You understand? But here it is. This lady, she's acceptive of this because she's getting pleasure. And it's getting his rocks off to see his woman be pleased. You understand? How do you okay with this? Because you can't please your wife. That's the core of the problem right there.
Mm.
That's how it happened. Like, oh, and then she get to talking. Let's have a threesome. See, it sounds absurd when a woman say that. Well, see, it's easy for a man to say, let's have a threesome and to throw another woman in the case. But what about the women that want two men? What about the woman that's so sick in the mind that persuades her husband, I want you to watch me have sex? There's women that have sexual sick fetishes, Demario. You'll be
Mhm.
surprised.
No, I'm not really surprised. I just I believe it. It is what it is.
Yeah, Doris said, no, it's not just a woman, a man to do that. But where does the root come from? It's pleasuring somebody, watching, the fetishes and knowing that that's where these sexual demon type of acts start. It's a fetish. It starts with a little fetish. It starts with something that turns them on, that makes them ejaculate. It makes them have release or break a bust a nut. These words that a lot of young people say. It start with that, and then it starts to snowball. It starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. People get sick out here. And the church should be having sexual classes and understandings, because in this day and age, people are confused with their sexuality. Things are going on in their mind because they're influenced by the things they see. So if I had a church, sex education 101, 102, 103, and 10 goddamn 4 will be happening around here,
Right.
because we need to talk about this. Not only that, we're going to talk about protection. We're going to talk about, decisions. And I'm not going to shun away my members if they decide their sexuality tends to be different. I would hopefully have a psychologist on board and a social worker on board, instead of having my auntie and my mother and mother hen talking to them, because a lot of us are not even licensed to help people with these psychological issues. If a pastor was very intelligent, he would have a social worker, a psychologist, or a psychotherapist on board. They don't need a psychologist. A psychologist is a person that prescribes medicine. You can have a psychotherapist that could teach somebody to deal and to cope with these issues on board, instead of talking to the mother of the church, instead of talking to the first lady of the church, because a lot of people aren't equipped with the knowledge to deal with people with these issues.
Hmm. And then they always want to talk about let's pray. Listen, and I'm not speaking against it. I'm not speaking against it. I want that to be clear. You can't pray about everything. You have to put some action to it and some work. You got to try to seek. Bible say, "Seeking ye shall find; knocking the door shall be open." You got to seek for what's going on. You got to look. You can't just say, "Lord, help me to figure out what's wrong with my child." Why they quiet? No, just start paying attention. Start looking. Start seeking, and you're gonna find out what's the root of the cause. It may be a text message. It may be a phone call. You may hear them talking in the middle of the night, all weird and secretively and carrying on. It could be anything, but you're gonna find out. And when you find out, don't shoo your child away, but just understand, or a child, or maybe that's your son is a young adult now. Don't or your daughter, because we can't leave out the girls because they go through too. And whatever they tell you what's going on, it is just take it for what it is. One of the ladies I talked to, she said her son is like 30 something, and he just told her what happened. You can't get mad at your child because probably during the time where he should have told you, you was probably so engulfed in what was going on that you would have never believed him anyways. That's the crazy thing. Sometimes some of these kids and women and stuff, they don't say nothing until later on in life. And you sitting here like, I wish you had said something way back then. I
Oh,
wish you had said something.
oh, Demario, you have a follower that's a certified sex educator. So I want to give a shout out to Deshonda. I am so happy, Deshonda, that your pastor is open for you to have these conversations. And I think that every church, especially in this
Hey.
day and age,
Oh,
need
I
to
know this, Shonda.
open. Yeah, to need to
I
have
know.
this,
Oh,
because you can't put new wine in old skin. The old way of teaching, the old way of preaching is not working now. God sees this. His children have to be reached. God's not concerned about the old saints. He's concerned about the new saints. He's concerned about the ones that's left the pasture. See, everybody else may be in the pasture. Y'all follow the rules and you love the Lord. But did you know that God leaves the pasture when he sees the two or three of his sheep leave and get lost? God's more concerned about the lost. So in this day and age, we have a bunch of sexual perverted people running around. A lot of sexual perverted acts happening in and around the church. A lot of sexual perverted acts are happening in our homes. Why isn't this being taught?
It's a video that I really want to show, but because YouTube is a asshole, I'll say that. I'll just talk about it. You know,
Ooh, yes,
normally, normally we just hear about some of this crazy stuff happening with white people. You know, you hear about the mother on mother, father on son, siblings on siblings. You kind of, you're used to hearing that with white people, right, Miko?
exactly.
But as I watched this video, these black kids was saying some of the most craziest of things. One girl said, this again, this is when something is not right. This one black girl said they were asking questions. They said, the boy handed the mic and said, "What is the craziest thing that you've ever done?" And one girl said, "I was in the bed with my grandma. She was asleep, and I fingered myself." Another boy said that he was jacking off, and he told his, I believe it was brother or stepbrother, to come catch it, and he busted in the boy's mouth or something. It was really crazy. Um, oh God. Somebody said, oh, one boy said he busted a nut into the mayonnaise jar, and then he didn't tell nobody. His mama came right behind that, got the mayonnaise jar, and was making sandwiches. It was so many things, Miko. It was so many things. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me, right? Like, this is a joke.
And somebody in your absolutely, I'm glad you talked about that. Somebody said sexuality is instinctive; it's not a mental issue. I agree with you, Thomas, and I also believe that some people, when they go through things, they make that decision, their sexuality based on what their trauma was. There's a lot of people that
Right.
naturally feel that it's instinctive, and it goes back to the word that Demario talks about in the Bible. The Lord says some were born this way, some were made this way, and some were forced to be this way. That's in the word. And a lot of people will argue that are against the LGBTQ or people that are homosexual and say that the Enochs were people that just got castrated. Enochs aren't gay people, but that's weird because as we look back in centuries and times, especially in Caesar time was recorded and we believe that in school and history, but Caesar also was in the Bible. Jesus said, give Caesar his money back. So in Caesar's palace, there were a lot of gay men serving Caesar. Oh, yes. A lot of women that were queens had gay women around them. Oh, yes. So this thing has been around for centuries. And yes, I agree. It can be instinctive. And then it also could be a situation where somebody have been traumatized and they were forced, involuntarily, or made the decision to say, hey, they have trust issues that I don't want that anymore. I feel safe with this gender. I feel safe with this that I'm doing. There's people that are not even attracted to nobody. Did you know that, Demario?
Yeah, I know that.
Well, they're not even attracted. There's people out here that never even had sex. They're not even attracted. They're not even, what do they call them? Pansexuals or asexuals?
Asexual.
Asexuals. I have a guy that I follow. I love him to death. I'm in the beauty industry. Help me out, Demario. Who was his name? He's in Atlanta. Uh he has millions of followers. He does
Oh,
great wigs.
was it clever? No,
I forgot his name, but
Clamar, something like
I
that.
forget I forgot his name. But he's in Atlanta. He has millions of followers, and he dresses like a girl. He looks beautiful, but he's not attracted to neither one. I think, because sometimes I don't know. you know, but what I'm saying is the reason why we're getting around to people's sexuality and what they choose. You got to remember it's a root to all of this. Some people naturally are just inclined to be attracted to the same sex. Some people are naturally inclined, they're attracted to animals. The people are naturally inclined, they're attracted to just objects. Yes, people love objects. That's why you have a lot of men. Let's talk about it, Demario. Demario, I hope you could bring up a video of the robot that's a stripper. The life doll, the what you call it, life the sex doll.
Girl, I ain't never seen that.
You never saw that?
No.
Oh my God, Demario, you got to pull that up. Somebody, Nate, can you please type in Google. If y'all have never seen this, Demario, you got to play this. See, robotronics is real. This is the way of the future. This is why I tell people if you have young children, you got to see if they are into building things because robotronics is in the future. You guys, we are in the middle of a shift. We are always already wearing masks. The next thing is going to be a spacesuit. We are going into the future. So robotronics is real. In China and in Japan, they are making life dolls that know how to talk and respond to a human. They're walking and they're dancing. That's how far they've gotten into robotronics, Demario. Look up woman robot stripper. It's on YouTube. Y'all look it up. She got on a white dress. Japan and China are on their way of releasing that model. They already have life-size sex dolls.
Yeah,
So
sex doll.
there's some people that have fetishes with objects, Demario. They can't face to even have human contact. They have more fun with an object. The church needs to talk about that. There's some people that are in love with objects. I'm finna look it up for you. Y'all looking it up, ain't you? You never saw this? Here you go, right here, Demario. I'm finna send it to you. Ready? You ready, Demario?
Okay, sorry about that. I was sitting up here trying to get that video and I went out. I
Did
apologize.
you get it?
Hold
Did you
on, let me
get it?
see. What the heck is that?
Did you get it? Play it for the people. You think I'm playing?
Okay. Now I can't play it. I'm on my phone doing this, but I'm gonna take a picture of it. Wow.
Okay.
Oh wow. It's called Sex Robot of the Future. That's gonna happen though, for real. Oh, let me get it. Let me see. Okay. Let's show this to the people. Miko, you there? There you go.
Yeah, I'm here. A lot of people wouldn't believe me. So, these conversations need to be had. So, when we deal with our youngsters, it's important to guide them through this choice making. In the beginning, while we're raising them in church and talking to them, sex is around them. We can't stop the radios and the TVs and YouTube. All your kids, let me tell y'all something.
And that's
You
this is
better
the
go
truth.
look to pick up their phones. And I'm going to tell you something about this word named cookies. They can't erase it. But I challenge every last one of y'all to look at your kids' cookies. I told my girlfriend this, that was one of my clients. She told me, she came back and told me what she found. You're going to find out what your kids are Googling. They on YouTube, they on these social medias all day. This is what they're exposed to. So kids at a young age are trying to make a decision of what they feel. Do I tell mom how I really feel? I've never seen so many young women now. They say they don't even want to have children, Demario,
Mm-hmm.
because they've been so busy raising their mama's kids and they don't even want children. They don't even want a man. They say, I don't even want a man. I don't want no children because they watch their mama get abused. They watch their mama get played by men. And they just, in their mind, psychologically, they said, I don't want a man. Yes, sir. You see this? Sex robots of the future.
I'm trying. I had saved this video because I want to show it. Hopefully, that's because how I downloaded. Let me see. This is so crazy.
But this is reality. And guess what? While we talking about it, those Japanese pay people, that's why I say y'all need to get your kids in robotronics, not to necessarily make a sex object, but they're making live robots now, like with skin that feels like ours, that move and talk like us. Japanese and Chinese people getting ready to be billionaires because
Huh.
this is the future.
Because then, well, yeah, at least with a robot, you ain't got to worry about nobody cheating.
Cheating or talking about us, or hurting us. And that's, you got to remember, some people have been so emotionally abused, such a psychologically tore up, where all they trust is objects now. Objects. There's, yes, Trisha. Object sexuality, objectophilia.
This is sad.
But these conversations need to be had, because you may have a young boy that have witnessed his mother being foul, and he grew up in disgust of women all his life. There's some young boys that have all sisters and a girl, and all girls in the family and a mama. No man around, no nothing. And they are tired of women. And you'd be surprised, a lot of them, they end up being gay. A lot of them.
That's reality though.
That's truth. How about some of the women that raise their young boys, and it's okay to cry, it's okay to touch into your emotional side. If you want to wear mommy's dress, wear mommy's dress. And you want to wear, did you, what about well, look at Gabrielle Union.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, they embrace their son doing that.
Some people were born this way, some people were forced to be this way, and some people voluntarily became this way.
Because that's one of my questions. Like, okay, since everybody has such a problem with the young boy doing whatever, like, do you all know if the boy was heard, molested, abused? Nobody knows this. But this, I don't know. I really can't put no answer to that one. I don't know.
I think that's a great conversation, but you should have a conversation with your friend, follower that's a sex educator too, because people need to hear some of the stories that come across her desk. Why it's important to have these conversations. I'm not a certified sex educator, but I do know of the ramifications between foul acts and rape, because these things happen to me. And I am a victim of brutal rape. I am a victim of manipulation and perversion. I know what it feels like to go through these things and keep it on the inside. I know what it is to have this thing on your mind and how it affects your relationships with men. But see, I love God so much. I keep praying for sanity and strength. So that's why I stay in the fight of knowing that God has a husband for me. I too have issues with trust issues. And Demario, you know this. Dealing with men.
Mm-hmm.
I have serious, serious trust issues. All it takes is one incident and I'm Peter Popoff. Am I lying, Demario?
Now you telling the truth.
I'm Peter Popoff, and you will never see him again in your life. Because something has went wrong, my trust issues. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of women are called crazy because of that. And a lot of men don't take time out to realize the triggers that they have set off to make her go off, because there's some things that people could do that can set off a rape victim, that can set off an abused woman or abused man. This thing can go both ways, y'all. It's not just for a woman's
Mm-hmm.
side. It could go
Absolutely.
both ways. And triggers could happen, and triggers could set you off, and you could be perfectly fine and stable in a new happy relationship, and boom, something happens and it sets something off, and you're in fear and you scream and you're rage and you yell and you're mad, and your partner's looking at you like you crazy, like, why would you even go that far? Why do you even have to go snap that hard? Why do you have to yell that hard? But they don't know that you've been through something like that before. And it brought something up and out of you. So when that happens, my advice to anybody, when you're always regurgitating that past and that pain, you've got to find a way to heal and subdue it. You won't get rid of it. I don't know who told you that that thing is just going to disappear. It's not, but you need to learn how to just cope with it. Learn that it happened. It happened for a reason. And you still alive, though. You still alive. You have a chance to live. And that's what I have to tell myself on a daily, DeMario. I'm still living. I still have a chance no matter what has happened to me, no matter about my abusers, no matter about the person that raped me. I was split from my vagina to my butt with 23 stitches because a man was so greedy to snatch me off the streets of Chicago, to penetrate me to the point where he ripped me. I healed from that physically, but mentally sometimes it creeps back up. You feel what I'm saying, DeMario?
Mm-hmm. I found the video
Mm-hmm.
that I was talking about. I was able to download it here. This may change up the mood a little bit. It may add a little humor, but you'll just understand like how crazy these are black kids. I'm gonna show you this.
Yeah.
Nicest thing you ever done?
I was pissed at my mama, so I mixed my period blood in her Kool-Aid and I watched her drink it.
I fucked this. I was babysitting this sixth grader and we ended up fucking.
I figured myself I was in the bed with my grandma.
Was she at least asleep?
I made her smell my fingers.
Shit, this bitch was sucking my dick and I nutted. And she sucked my shit. And she licked it, you feel me? And then she kissed me.
Okay, come on.
And then when she had kissed me, you feel me?
This happened recently. Oh shit. Me and my little cousin was playing house and I took her virginity.
I put a dildo up my ass and let my little brother lick it.
I found my mom and dad on Pornhub and I beat my meat too.
I shit it and then I grabbed the shit, put it in my hand. I started playing it like it was Play-Doh.
Alright, so I got mad at my sister, right? Then I had made her peanut butter jelly sandwich. Instead of peanut butter, I had smeared my shit into it.
Alright, I was like hitting this girl from the back, right? I put my thumb in her ass and I pulled it out and I like looked like it was some melt ass chocolate.
My hand was broke and I had my little brother beat my dick for me.
She put fruit roll up around my dick and whipped cream on top. She sucked my dick. But then after that, I ate the fruit roll.
Boom, this one little bitch, she was burning, but she was cute. So I fucked her. And then the next morning I woke up, I went to the bathroom to go pee, my dick started burning.
Give me your gum.
My gum?
Give me your gum.
What you finna do?
Alright, so my cousin had stole my 2K, right? And he was standing at my house. So I put his toothbrush in my ass and I watched him brush his teeth with it.
I put my finger in my butt and then I licked it like it was Nutella.
What I ever done was I ate a bitch out while she was on her period. And then when I got done, I licked the blood off my lips.
I put handcuffs on my nigga and fucked him with a strap.
Alright, bro. So I was beating my meat, right? And then my mom walks in. So I just kept spanking it, bro.
What's the nastiest thing you ever done?
Shit, I nutted in a mayonnaise jar. Then later on, my mama made a sandwich with it.
If I was to go to hell, it would be for having a threesome with two niggas.
Like, we ate my ex ass because he wanted both of us. So, like, we was like flicking. She got the top, I got the bottom part of the ass, and then I stuck it in, but then it was over after that.
So look, mama, her motherfucking granny, her whole motherfucking family, nothing in her mouth, all that shit.
DeMario. DeMario.
Yes.
Now, you know what's strange to me out of all that? It was some. This is now. Don't laugh, everybody. Now, this is real good. These are youths telling each other the truth, and if you all pay attention to social media and your kids' social media, you can get a lot of truth out of your kids because they tend to tell each other the truth. They be fearing to tell the parents. But this is the stuff going on. But out of all the conversations, all these kids are fascinated with butts. what's coming out the butt. They putting stuff in butts. When I was a kid, that was the last thing you thought of. They fascinated with scat. Y'all look that word up because they're scat lovers. That's a sexual fetish. But look at all the butts that's all over the internet. Look at the girls that all they're fascinated with is showing their butt. Everybody wants to do the butt. The butt. The butt is all over. Did you not hear everything it was about the butt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this is our youth. Nobody's willing to talk to them because it feel like it's just do what I say do.
Yeah.
No parent is taking their time with their kids.
And then look, they at home with the grandma. The little girl having jagging off and letting the grandma smell the fingers.
That was nasty. That was
The little
just
boy nutted in a mayonnaise jar, and the mother made a sandwich, and he watched his mother eat it. The little brother
that's
made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for his little sister and put scat in it. A little boy played with his scat. This is what goes on in our youth's minds. And this is the youth. So you mean to tell me we're not going to church? So we have no leadership. These kids is in school having church. They laughing about it, dapping about it, and they on the internet watching Pornhub. They're looking at all of this stuff. They're exposed to so much. And your child can't even put their phone down for a whole hour and have dinner with you. They always on the phone. You go on vacation, your kids on the phone. You outside, they on the phone. What your kid on the phone doing? Have y'all ever looked at that? Okay.
my little boy. He got a cell phone. I asked his mom. I said, "What he be doing?" She said, "He be talking. He be talking to his friends." And then he told me, he said, "I talk to my friends and be on the video game all day." And I'm like, first of all, my little dude is 6. No, he's no. I take it back. He's 7. Cam is 7. And it's just like I remember when I was 7, I ain't know nothing about no. Of course, there was no cell phones, but I'm just like, I know nothing about no phones. Know nothing about no cell phone. Now, every little kid, at first it's for their safety. Now it's went for their safety to something that keeps them occupied. So we never want to spend time with our kids. We just give them something to be occupied. And while you're giving them something to be occupied, it's taking on a whole new world. The internet is a whole new world within itself. And you're exposing your children to it because they may hit the wrong keystroke and hit enter, and it take them to some weird website, and there they go, intrigued.
And that's where it begins. That's where the I'm gonna make a decision on my sex. See, at this age, no, everybody that's old, forget this age. Between that 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 age right there, right up in there. People making a lot of decisions right there in that age on what they're gonna become in life, who they gonna
Mm-hmm.
hang around, who they gonna have sex with, and what they want to do. In that age, when you're talking about and thinking that your child is a child, they are making decisions in their brain. And at this time in 2020, a 13-year-old thinking like a 23-year-old.
Exactly.
They know a
These,
lot more
these
than
kids
a
are pretty much grown at a very early age.
oh. And to the point where they thinking about scat. Yeah, y'all, that scat word is boo-boo. I'm trying to dress it up really nice, but a lot of people, if you notice, are just amazed with butts, scat, twerking something. Every dance is about how fast can you throw your bottom. Can you twerk something? Nobody dances for real anymore. Like a real dance, like you really just dance. Like when I came up, you
Mm-hmm.
jack your body, and then now it's a butt dance. If you can't twerk something, mama, you just can't dance. It's all about butts. The young girls, the young skinny girls are doing anything to take a picture to show that they have a large butt. I watched some of these skinny girls, they lift their derriere. What, how you say it? They
The
derriere.
derriere.
They lift their derriere to give the illusion they have a butt. Everything is about a butt. It's butt fetishes around here. Everybody's intrigued with butts now.
Miss Nancy said we used to let TVs babysit. That's true. That is so true because you ain't have nothing else to do, or you was too busy working and you just sit your kids in front of TV. But
Yeah.
now they got phones.
Now they got phones. And so Google, you can't control your child on no phone. They go all across the world. But see, this is the thing. If you put your children in programs, if you enlighten them, if you travel with your child and show them things and find out what's really good and interesting for them and what they want to do, they'll tend to navigate away from the sexual desires. Their sexual desires is when kids are bored. Have you ever noticed that? They ain't got nothing else to do. It's just them. Then did you
Mm-hmm.
hear? This is why I don't do that cousin thing. My kids don't sleep over. We don't do too many sleepovers. No sir. Because I was a kid and I know what me and my cousins was doing. Playing house. Nobody want to talk about that playing house, do they?
Hmm.
I mean, I never had sex. So we did kissing.
Yeah,
But it's
we played house, you know. Well, not the, okay. Well, yes and no. We play house. I'll just say that. Period.
played house and you the mama, you the dad. Give me a kiss. I'm finna go to work. You go outside and go around the corner and come
That's
back.
it. That's it.
You go around the corner and come back. Y'all got to go to the grocery store. You and your kids, you and your friends. So y'all go to the bush and get little berries off the tree. Y'all nobody know what I talk about. Nobody know what I talk about. You got these little berries. So much you got to make. Then you go in the back and make mud pies because you making hamburger patties with these little berries. You nobody know what I talking about? Mud pies, baby. We did all that.
Honey, we did all of that.
Talking about the daddy come by with his car. He got a bike. Yelling and screaming and running around chasing the kids to whoop them, to play house. That's the game we played. And then mama and daddy went into the closet. You remember that?
Uh-huh.
Nobody remember that. I'm the only one. Okay. Oh, don't be in church. You know what goes down in church. Y'all, the mamas and the daddies laughing so hard and then downstairs, y'all eating cake and pineapple upside down, pound cakes and greens and tapioca pudding. Where your kids at? You ever thought about that? In the nursery, playing upstairs in the pew.
I ain't do none of that, but okay.
A lot of people did. A lot of people were playing with each other in church. You gonna be my boyfriend? You gonna be my girlfriend? Writing notes in the church. Y'all boyfriend and girlfriends now. You can't wait to get all of a sudden church is interesting. I'm the only one? Oh, okay. Church was always boring until somebody liked you. You in there just as cute as you want to be. You want to wear your special dress. I wanted my dress and my purse. I had nothing to put in my purse. I was putting tissue, rocks, peppermints, candy, anything I could find around the house. Just put in my purse. I wanted to look important because Johnny liked me. We're gonna sing today. Oh, nobody want to talk about that? How about being in school? You got a boyfriend, you on a bus holding hands. Y'all went to the auditorium. Y'all went to the planetarium or the museum and y'all sat in the dark and y'all got to hold hands. Y'all look, I'm the only one. Oh, okay. Come back. Y'all, you didn't have no boyfriend. You come back from the museum. Now you got a boyfriend. So it happens, is what I'm saying, that the sexuality peeps up. It's a hormonal thing. It's instinctive. It's natural for you to be attracted to something. But as a parent, you should start noticing these signs and start having more open conversations with your children before the society chooses for your children. Trisha said, I didn't experience that until I was in the army. Then do you have people, how about the ones that have been shunned where your parents don't talk about it? I had a girlfriend she had to wait till she was clear off in her 30s to have sex because she was so scared. She never did, which was good. But then when she got out here, you can't stop her now. She gone.
And she gone.
Gone. You
Can't
know?
stop her. She just gotta have it.
That's just like me raising my child. My oldest one is 21. I kept her away from the ghetto, anything I could to just listen. I'm from the streets. I just thought it was my job as a parent to make sure that my kids didn't have a life like me. You feel what I'm saying? So you want to live in the suburbs and raise them up right. As soon as my child found out what the streets were, I can't. She's intrigued. She's intrigued to know, what it is to have friends that stay out all night, and you know what I'm saying? Because my daughter never had that life.
Right.
She's not a wild child. She go outside once in a while. I still, to this day, my baby is 21. My baby still feels like she's 12. That is my damn baby. You know how I feel about my baby. That's my
Right.
baby. I still, she'd be embarrassed. It'd be 12:59. I'm FaceTime. Where you at? Not only do she have FaceTime on the phone, on the watch, in the car, location is downloaded. That's my child. That's my baby. But I have to let her soak her royal oats. I need her to. She still has to grow up. There's some things you just can't protect your kids from. But what I feel like I'm just adult babysitting, I'm guiding her while she's making the decision. I'm not giving up on my child. A lot of people would lose patience with their children and put them out. I'm not doing that with my child because I know what it is to be that age and you can't make decisions. You don't know which way to go because you're not mature at 21. You're getting close to maturity at 25, but you're not there yet. You don't know where you want to be. Yep, I had my first at that age too, Nancy. 23, going on 24, absolutely. But, we talked a lot. All I'm saying is I hope, that when people come on your platform, they do find safety to express themselves. And I hope we as followers and people that hear these stories, we're nice to them and to hear what God is saying to you. And yes, we have to use discernment because sometimes people don't tell the truth, but it's not our job to bash people when they just share their story, especially this type of story. When we get to sexual uh cases, whether it was by force, voluntarily or involuntary, sometimes you can be mentally persuaded to do things that you did not want to do. And
Right.
sometimes you can be scared to not tell somebody. And people can hold on to things for 10, 20, and 30 years. They
That's
can.
correct. That's
People
correct.
can.
Cause
People can.
people don't realize that, like, even now, like while we're on the phone talking, somebody's being touched. Whether we believe it or not, somebody's being touched.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sound good, it ain't right, but somebody's being touched.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
again, it's crazy to think that way, but that's a reality in somebody's life. And even with those young men, there's another case. And then there's another case.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another case. And then
You,
somebody,
you know what I commend you about, Demario?
what's up?
A lot of people, when they look at gay men, they automatically assume that they have been abused. And so you've never been through any of that.
No.
And then for you to be a good listener, like we can go down some of your interviews when you allow people to come on your platform. You ask questions, your poise is right, and you listen because you've never been through that. So you listen intently. And that's what people need to treat people that are victims like. And I appreciate that with you because you don't insert your opinion like, oh, nigga, that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Unless you smell bull crap. You allow people to express themselves. You always look after people. After shows, you always be like, I know we talked about it. Are you okay? You know, because this is a very touchy topic. And I just commend you on that, Demario, for you not to have went through those things, but you have the heart to talk about it and to bring awareness to this. That's commendable. I just wanted to tell you, bro, I really love you for that.
I appreciate it. I do. And I mean, maybe that may sound like somebody said little slick arrogance or fake humility. No, I'm just like you know how you do something for so long. It's just like you really don't need to thank you. I don't. Nobody has to say, but I appreciate somebody who gets it. You know, like you get it. This ain't for show. This ain't that I'm trying to get recognition or anything like that. But I just want people to understand that this is not about shaming someone, being famous or anything, but it's helping people. Just help people along the way. And if I can't touch you physically, I'll do what I can to reach out to you so you understand that somebody's there. And I've done that with every single person. I've done my best to reach out to them and to help them understand that somebody does care. Because with all of these people, Kalina Fontenot, the girl who got beat up at Bishop Jake's church, um, even oh God, what's that boy's name? Um, Joshua Holmes' wife. Remember, she came onto my live and everything,
She
and
was almost ready to break free from it and everything.
yeah, and then she went back to him.
Yep.
So it's
Even with
like,
Fontenot's wife, she was
yep,
talking to you and ready to break free from that, and she went right back to her abuser. It happens. And Demario, you were crushed about that. Yeah.
yeah. Wait. Nancy, I've been following you since October 2019. How grandma, boyfriend, mother, aunt, uncle killing our babies. Yeah, that's true. I appreciate that. I appreciate the people that are following and everything like that, and they see past the foolishness. Cause we spend too much time going back and forth over dumb stuff, trying to get back to what we've been doing. Trying to make sense of all this foolishness, and what we can't make sense, we talk about it, and we try our best to get through it.
And that's all your platform is about, is
That's
helping
all.
someone to get their word out. It's not that you're gonna go, hurt the perpetrator. You just you're making you're that today they made a decision to tell the church. And God has blessed you to have a platform that's in front of the church to tell their story. And that's what you use your platform for, because those things do need to be told, especially after you find out that they went to them in private, after they went with 2 or 3 witnesses. And now it's time for them to tell the church. And this is the stage where people get healing. They say it. And after you tell your story, it's time to move on. You can't keep running it down and running it down. It don't work. You're going to build up so many enemies. I mean, say that thing, release that thing, and stand on it and
Honey,
ask
we know
God
all
to
about
heal
that.
you. Oh,
We
we
know
know it.
all about that.
Hmm. So I just hope that this week is a beautiful week. We know that you're getting ready to have some heavy hitting shows, and I'm going to be praying for every last one of these victims, because when people step up to say something, it's because they're trying to get this monkey off their back. They're trying to release this baggage, and it's important for us as the children of God to help people to heal through this process so they can be free. Let them be free. That's the whole purpose, so they can go on in their life. Let them be free.
It was something that came to mind. Oh, that's what it was. So I was talking to one of the guys I know in Memphis, and he had inboxed me. Now, mind you, he has my phone number, but he had inboxed me on Facebook, and he said, "Jives." Well, he said, "Man of God," I hate that. He said, "Man of God." So he said, "I got a question for you. Like, I need some serious answers." And I was like, "Okay, what's the problem?" Like, he was like, "Call me, call me, call me." And I'm like, is everything okay?" So we got on the phone, we started talking, and he said, "I am a chaplain for the police department, and I also work in abuse counseling and some things like that, and just like what I've been talking about. And he said, how can we fix this as a church? How do we handle this? How do we fix this? He said, because there are a lot of pastors, before they did anything, they were asking for help and nobody was willing to help them. Before they did anything crazy, they were asking for help, and then there was nobody, and then they end up doing something crazy. And so I said, that's interesting. I said, however, how can the church fix this or even assist in areas like this? Is you have to be able to talk about the hard stuff. And when people tell you their truth, be able and in a place to receive it and able to talk with them and work with them through this situation. Because there may be a man out there or a woman who's having some freaky, nasty, gross thoughts about little kids. And they just need to be able to say, listen, like, I need somebody to help me because I don't want to do anything stupid. I don't want to act on this. And I told him, I said, it was him and another gentleman. They do this type of work. And I said, you all need to be able to really have these conversations. Because as much as we like to say pray, like sometimes we need to be able to talk amongst each other and have a conversation, because we praying and we looking for a God to come and fix our problems when we can easily be helpers one to another and say, hey bro, don't do this. Hey bro, don't do that. Like, that ain't good. That ain't a good look. No, don't do that. Spouses, you got married to somebody, you should be able to have a conversation. Nobody thinks about this. Everybody just want to get married so they can have sex. But your spouse is supposed to be there to help you through the thick and the thin, the crazy, the good, the bad, for better or worse, to death do us, all this type of stuff like this. We supposed to be helpers one to another. That may not make sense to somebody, but that's truth. If so, I remember, I'm gonna tell you business, Miko. I remember Miko, we was talking some months ago, and we was just getting started with this George Floyd situation. And she had dealt with something that was very crazy. And she was like, I just don't want to do this no more. I don't want to live no more. I don't want to. And so I talked to her till I was blue in the face. I stayed on the phone with her as long as I possibly could. And even when she got off the phone with me, I'm still reaching out to her like, you okay? You okay? Because I don't want her to do anything to herself. She was like really crazy during that time. Now she was crazy, but it was really crazy. And you may not have the words to say, but do as much as you can.
And that you did. You made sure I didn't do nothing. Goddamn.
And then the next day, wait, hold on, y'all. Let me tell you the trip that part. She started acting crazy. She got on Facebook and put this old crazy video on there. And folks calling me, is everything all right with your sister? That thing scared me. And I said, she's okay, y'all. Now, meanwhile, I'm texting her, cussing her. Where you at? Where you at? And everybody keep asking, where your sister? She's just going through some, y'all.
And the loyalty, you didn't share, but I was going through something serious.
Right.
I appreciate you during that time, because it was so much pressure at that moment. And just like, and that's why I tell people, you never know what you're saying to somebody. That's why it's so important to not ridicule people and tease people or make fun of people, and because you don't know what people are going through, and they could be just that close to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And what I don't want on my hands is somebody's blood. I never want to push somebody over the edge, and I don't want nobody to push me. But then there are people that can't take the pressure and they do want to end their life. That's a conversation that needs to be had in church as well.
Right.
Suicide. Why do people feel as though they just want to end their life? Some people just feel like life will be better without them there because nobody's paying attention to me. Nobody's taking time out to love me. I've been raped. I've been hurt. I've been abused, and they couldn't tell nobody. They couldn't scream. They couldn't tell nobody. Nobody believes them. They just been hushed. Some people have, like the young guy that was on YouTube that was here one day. I forget his name. It was with a T. And the next day, but he was troubling love. The matters of the heart sometimes pushes people over the edge to kill somebody. A famous YouTuber killed himself less than 2-3 months ago. And he was filming cats. But people loved him so much. But yet he was so depressed on the inside. I mean, he has millions of followers. People loved his jokes with the cats. He just filmed cats and made storylines with it. But inside, he was pressured. He felt not wanted. He felt undesired. He felt like he was a waste. And people that feel that way need to be reassured that they shouldn't. We need to help them to find the God in them, to help them to find the very thing of why they are existing. And a lot of people don't know they're born for a reason. Where do we get off not telling people what their gift is truly? Is because a lot of people don't have that eye no more.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, we used to tell people, oh, that boy is good. That boy is good with his hands. And we help. A lot of people don't do it. Everybody don't have time no more. When I grew up, my mother made breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like cooking. Like the whole breakfast. I could barely get dinner on. And I always say at the end of the day, where did the time go? We're so consumed with so many other things. We're not worried about the right things. So we overlook people. People don't even have relationships anymore. They have textual ships. People don't even call no more. They rather text. People don't do physical being checks. People just say, oh, I didn't see you on Facebook today. Well, maybe something wrong with her. Back in the day, you used to go to your people's house. Remember that? Used to check up on them. Used to go visit people. That made people feel good. Nowadays, nobody comes visits people unless it's a party or you got some free food or it's a card game and some liquor. Who goes and just sit and talk to the people? That's why I like when you went to Memphis to see your grandmother, to see all those ladies just sit down and have a conversation. That's family. Who does that now? To support each other's feelings, their emotions.
It's very rare. Because people don't do it. Like, just think about it. When do we really have family gatherings? When do we do get-togethers?
Oh, they talking about Donnie McClurkin. Donnie McClurkin's been sick for a long time. Not just physically sick, just, we all could have seen. But I'm praying for everybody. But at this point, we say that as a go-to excuse. I'm going to pray for you. But you really don't get offline and pray for nobody. Come on, man. People just say that to say it. Not that we won't pray
Because
for Donnie McClurkin.
that's the go-to what to say.
Yeah, not that Thomas, you won't pray for Donnie McClurkin, not to feel your spirit. But that's our go-to statement to everybody. I'm going to pray for you. And you don't even really be praying. Do you tear up your prayer room when you pray for somebody? Are you really an intercessor for somebody? Are you really tearing up the sky? Are you breaking up that bad energy for somebody when you step in and intercede on their behalf? Are you asking God to forgive your friend from their sins? Are you really praying to help somebody, to have covering, a hedge of protection around them? Are you tearing up your prayer room for someone when you tell them you are praying for them? Or are you just using it as a go-to thing?
I'm gonna tell you
Because if
me.
all these
I'm
prayers, these pastors shouldn't be doing what they're doing, Demario. Ain't nobody praying.
I'm gonna tell you me when I do say that, and I hang up the phone with somebody, I say something right then. I say something right then because you don't want what you say to be a lie. Somebody say, "Oh, can you say a word of prayer for me?" Okay, either we gonna say it right now, or I'm gonna right because I'm gonna have to. Because if I don't, I'm gonna forget. I think people really need to think about that and practice that.
Absolutely. And then, all right, what are you praying? You ain't praying. A lot of people just saying that. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm tired of the church. You got to also work. You got to have work. Faith without work is dead. And work isn't
Mm-hmm.
you just going in to clock in. You got to put in work when you are praying on behalf of people, putting in work. That means you getting up, you going to check on this suicidal person that's a member in your church. You putting in work. You keeping this person away from drugs and society. You doing everything you can. You putting in work to help somebody to free themselves from this pain, this agony, and this stress. You putting in this work because faith without work is dead. That part, Demario, ain't nobody
Mm-hmm.
working. Ain't nobody working in ministry. We too busy just throwing Bible verses out. We too busy. We too busy being God. We too busy judging others. We too busy shaming others. We too busy ignoring each other. Oh, we doing everything but the right thing, Demario.
Mm-hmm. I was reading the comments. Miss Nancy said, "My grandson has depression. Praying a protection over him." Okay, I'm gonna touch on that. Nate said people don't care that much. Instead, they expect the victims to call or text or explain or reach out. That's true too. As far as Miss Nancy, here's the thing. It's good to pray. It's good to pray for people, but you got to put some action to it and make yourself known. Okay, like we can't expect the Lord to do everything for us. You want to make sure your son or grandson dealing with depression is okay, go visit, pick up the phone, call, send a text message, make sure they're okay. Like that's how you kill that depression. Just letting a person know that you're there makes a difference. Like you may not be able to
Look,
do it all the time,
I'm,
but you
I'm
get.
gonna be on your ball. Like if you lived here, if somebody, my friend, tell me they finna, which has happened, I'm gonna be at your house. I'm sleeping with you, girl. We finna eat, girl. What the hell you mean, you finna, girl? Well, we going together. I'm cracking jokes, girl. Get up, get up. I'm dancing. I'm gonna do anything silly because I'm silly. I'm gonna make you laugh, Demario. Am I not?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we felt down in a rut? Not just me, you too. It takes a friend to be like, "Hey, what's up, bro? What's that? What's crack? Are you all
Well,
right?"
Miss Nancy, she said, well, he knows to call his grandma. Like sometimes they don't want to call. They don't. Like they just don't want to. You got to make the initiative.
You got to put in the work.
And but you know what? Here's the other thing. Sometimes some people are just tired.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
just
like when you've been helping people, and
for
that
so
can be me.
long. Yeah, that part.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
tired, and it's not anything personal. It's not anything personal. But when you've been doing it so long with people, it's not that you don't want to help nobody, but it's just you tired. Like I've been doing this for a long time. I love what I do, but I can't do what I used to do, like I used to do it.
Yeah, that part. And I'm glad you brought that up. There's some people that have truly been helping people all over. And they just get to the point that's just like me, where you care so much for people and help people, but nobody's reaching out for you. So you just get tired. You don't even want to do it no more. And there's some days I know you feel like I don't even want to help nobody because every time I give a story, I get this backlash. I get this This hateful spirit. I get these trolls. And this is not even me doing the act. Y'all can attack me, but you won't even attack the very well pastors or the people or the stories I report that actually did these crimes to people. So when you're helping people, that's a very drain. Look, anytime you intercede on somebody, it takes a lot out of you.
And that's a form of intercession too. Not just
Yes, it is.
praying, not doing all this and talk to the Lord and speaking in all these tongues. Like a form of intercession is you interceding between that person and the problem. You stepping in and being that medium between them and that, and trying to help them along the way. That's intercession.
And it drains you. If anybody
It
knows
is
about
draining.
when you intercede, even if you pray, when you talk to God, sometimes when I have prayers, I get knocked out. Have you ever had that happen to you?
Mm-hmm.
I
As
got to
soon as you
take a
get through praying,
whole
you
nap.
going to sleep while you praying.
I got to take a whole nap. Sometimes after I have a conversation with God, I just be knocked out. Didn't even know I was knocked out. And I've been thinking about that too. Am I going to it? But the thing is, it takes a lot out of you to care for somebody, let alone intercede on their behalf, let alone pray for them. I saw somebody in the comments say, you can't let everybody pray for you because they pray for your downfall. That is so true. But guess what? We can't control if somebody prays for your downfall or not. There are people out here that are entertaining an evil world. And I keep telling y'all, witchcraft is real. Even God in the word tells you, you're not fighting against the flesh, brother. What it says, Mario, you fighting against the what?
Spiritual wickedness in high places.
The dark principalities. And
That
if
too.
you didn't get that, in the word, that should let you know that there are spirits that are just straight up evil. Those are the things you're fighting. Not so much that person, but the evilness in them. That's why I know people can change. People can allow the evilness to enter, but if they get to know God, but God, when you allow God in, nothing else can live in you. So people can remove that evil spirit. That spirit can leave that temple. Oh, you better believe that. And it's up to you to allow him to come back in. Because even in the word, Demario, let's bring it home. He said, because when Satan come by and he see the house is empty, ooh, he comes back with 7 more of his friends. Y'all, a lot of people don't read the Bible. They read it with a fleshly eye and not a spiritual eye. That's why it's important to keep God in your temple. Because when you release God, oh, God, I hate you. I don't want you in my life. Then you start entertaining the evilness and you let Satan back in. He coming back with 7 more of his friends. That's in the word, Demario. You're going to be even more crazy than what you thought you was. So I believe that people can change. I believe that people can get rid of the childish things. I believe they could put down those toys and pick up the holy word. I believe they could pick up a good spirit. For those that say, oh, God, not real. But if you don't believe, there's yin and there's yang. There's good and there's bad. There's light and there's dark. This thing is real. This is not a joke. You can call it what you want. Mother Nature and darkness. You can call it light, dark. You could be an Egyptian, Hebrew, Israelite, whatever it is. There's a yin and a yang. There's a light and a dark. There's a good and a bad. Bottom line. So you either choose the good way or the bad way. Bottom line, man. So you could be a robber and a murderer in the beginning. And you can find the light and you can change. You can change. Your mindset can change. You can heal from a lot. You can become a changed person. But for those that are questioning if that person changed, it's not their mouth that proves it. It's their actions that proves changed behavior.
There you go.
So that's what we got to look at that. Nancy said the race is not given to the fast from strong. Absolutely. I have no circle because that's what I'm used to. Absolutely. I don't let no one with a violent, angry spirit lay hands. And y'all have to start recognizing those spirits. Have you ever just asked your kid, or your mate wouldn't have jumped up in you. You know how they just act strange?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a spirit. You know how somebody can just get greedy all of a sudden? You know it. You went to the boat with your friend. Y'all just went there to go get crab legs, and all of a sudden your friend greedy as hell. She ready to play slots. Come on now, that's a spirit.
Not
Greed
crab
is a spirit.
legs.
And the more and more I think about it, I just thank God for the word. I thank God for all these books because it just explains so much on why we do what we do as humans. And the more and more I think about things, God is, man, amazing. Man, and you know, I'm guilty of it, Damari. I'm guilty of not just following all the rules. You know, I'm human. Sometimes I detour. Sometimes I skip off to the left. I want to do things my way. I want, because my flesh feels good, and instead of, I ignore my spirit. I ignore my spirit man, my Holy Spirit man, not my evil spirited man. You know, and we ignore these things, and we do what we want to do, only to suffer consequences. To only get back on our face and ask God for forgiveness.
That's true.
So, you know, again, we've been on here for a long time, but I just commend you. I commend all of you guys for taking time out to listen to me on this platform with Demario today. But we really were coming on as me being a witness to somebody that has been through um, persuasion, manipulation, and rape, and not so much bringing my stories up, but you go through things so you can share these things, so you can help somebody. So when you get over the fact that these things happen to you and you release them to the world and you start telling it, whether it's in the form of a book, some of you guys can write poetry. You might be able to paint your abuse. I need you to find a way to tell your story in either art form that you find, whether it's a song, a rap, a painting, a book, or even like Miss Miko and Demario, we get on and we just talk. So some people are not good with talking, but you may have an art piece inside of you that's so magnificent. You won't know until you allow God to use your hands so you can paint the strokes of anger and paint the strokes of your depression. And there's someone that's going to pick that message up and may pay millions of dollars for your piece of artwork. You never know where your breakthrough is coming. And as long as I've been living, people's breakthroughs come through their pain, not through you putting $10,000 in the bucket for somebody to go eat steak and get 24 karat gold facials and buy big houses on you. Your breakthrough comes through your pain. That part, Demario.
I feel like with all of this that has been told thus far, all of this, that at some point people, it will help others be free. Like this is a thing that's been going on so long. It's like the people that do it feel like they'll get away. And by telling these stories, for me, is just another way to make the people that do these things understand that one day, this may just be you that we're talking about.
Amen. I hope it's not. But I thank for people, thank you for people like you. You know, it's a thin line between gossiping and helping people. It's a
And
thin
helping
line.
people.
Yep. It's a thin line between just spreading gossip or allowing people to just share their story so they can be heard because they're at the stage of telling the church. And that's what I commend you for. And you do ask the questions. A lot of people don't know. You said, hey, did you call your perpetrator? Did you talk to people don't know these questions that you ask them in the background. So I commend you for that, for putting on your collar when you do counsel people over the phone. And a lot of people, I keep telling you, you need to record that part because a lot of people don't see that part when you drill them. They need to see that.
Mm-hmm. Because I've asked so many questions, like even when it comes down to, like, okay, I'll give this an example. Like I've talked to Nay, and I see Nay and Miss Trisha, they on here talking. I've talked to Nay, And even in the beginning when she was explaining things to me, I asked, did you do this? Or did you do it? Did you talk about this? How was things with you and your mom? Or how are things with you and your dad or your siblings and stuff like that? You talk about that so much, and then you let people know, okay, okay, I'm here to help. I'm here to somewhat, in a sense, hold your hand. And then after I'm walking with you, I told Nate one time, I said, okay, I'm gonna need you to get some strength and if you need to get strength, how is it that you're going to gain some strength? And we had walked through trying to, different exercises, what she can do and get out, try to get around some positive people and stuff like that. Like, you need that. Like, that's something that you can tell people, because if you don't live right there, they need to try to find somebody who could be that good friend or good strength or good somebody to be around, because you can't be there all the time.
And I do want to add this. I found this out, with myself one time. I was going through a low. DeMario, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
And my doctor told me that I was low on serotonin. Okay. And serotonin is a chemical that's in your brain that can keep you balanced. And what happens is, a lot of people, when they go through maybe a manic attack or maybe a mild depression, or sometimes people are manic depressive, they go up and down. Then some people are bipolar and don't even know it, which does not mean you're crazy. Sometimes people have gone through so much stuff. So what happens is their brain lacks serotonin. And so one thing a lot of doctors do to rush serotonin to the brain, they'll give them meds. But I do want to put this out in the atmosphere. If you are in a low state and you are experiencing depression, it is important to get up and do something physical, because your body can naturally produce serotonin through physical action. So that's why, if you ever notice, people that exercise, people that are in sports are the most happiest, because they are naturally producing so much serotonin. A lot of people self-medicate themselves. A lot of people soak in their depression. A lot of people don't get up and exercise or even just take a walk. Because if you say exercise, it gets boring. They don't want to do it. But if you just naturally get up and do something physically, you can naturally make serotonin in your brain. That keeps you balanced. I just wanted to throw that out there to somebody.
Yeah.
Because depression is real.
I don't know why people feel like that stuff is not real.
Right. But why do you get depressed? And I'm just talking about science right now. And a lot of people will go say and just pray, woo, woo, but do the work. And let's do the work by researching what causes this depression. Let's research. Everybody has a phone. You don't have to be a doctor if you don't have the money to go to the doctor, whatever. You can find things. Because, see, if one thing God said to us in Genesis, if nobody else picked up, he gave us everything we need in green and herbs. Did he not? Everything we need.
Wait, hold on. So 407 G4L, she said, I need you to talk to my son. He just told me this year he was molested by a close relative on his father's side when I sent him to Georgia during the summer when he was younger, around 8 to 10 years ago. Wow. How did you, okay. How did you handle that?
So she's telling us that she would like you to talk to him. I think that's good. I hope she contacts you. Make sure you put down your email so she can contact you.
Do you have Instagram? Let me do this. Nico, did you just cut off? I put this right here. Oh, joy. Let's see. Hold on. Okay.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I think that's a good thing because a lot of those strange things happen when kids go away to their fathers. I've had experience of knowing some young lady that sent her daughter away to her father's house because a lot of single mothers, they get tired, not saying it's this young lady, or they feel like which the father should. And again, I'm one of those. If you're not sure about the relationship with the father, and just don't send your kids because see, sometimes you don't know what's going on around them. But in her situation, she didn't know nothing of that. You understand? So that's need to be a private thing to kind of work through that, and even seek out counseling for your son. A lot of us don't go into that. You'd be surprised how many people will counsel your son for free.
True.
And counseling doesn't mean that a person has to sit down and talk. That's why you go see a psychotherapist. A psychotherapist is going to find ways to allow your child to express themselves. I know a lot of you guys probably saw movies, right? And a child may have witnessed their parents dying. Have you ever witnessed on a movie the psychotherapist comes in and have the child to draw pictures and stuff like that? That's a form of therapy. Like I was expressing to some people as adults, that you can express yourself through other art forms than just talking. Because what you'll find is a lot of people, which we were talking about in the onset of this video, how people can be scared not to say something for years. And in that case, I believe he was probably in fear or in shock that it happened. And he found a time where his mother was so comfortable and at ease where he just wanted to share something with his mother that bothered him. So I commend your son for even coming to you. And honey, you got to thank God that God opened up the doors for your son to come tell you.
Right.
Because there's a lot of parents that don't know what has happened to their children until they get of age. And it becomes embarrassing to some parents. Some parents will deny it and say that never happened. That never happened. Because again, the human says, why did you wait that long to tell somebody?
Well, now I've told Nate's story on here before. Well, when Nate was going through her situation, it was different things. She was younger, but she said she had told her father, which was a pastor, and in return, he called her a whore and treated her all kind of just crazy ways. And then, if we really think about it, what does that do for the person, the victim, that is telling you what's going on? What does that do for them? Like, I'm telling you, this and that has happened to me, and this is what you say to me in return? Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, why would I come and tell you, hey, so-and-so touched me the wrong way, or they grabbed me and just raped me, and you say, you lying, you little whore, or you little fuck boy, or some crazy like that. Like, what does that what type of mental state does that put that person in? Because I'm telling you my truth. And this is what you say to me in return.
It makes them feel unwanted. It makes them shut everybody out. It makes them angry. It makes them stay inside. They don't want to talk to nobody because they'll never believe me again. And all right, never mind. They lose patience. It's a lot of things. See, people don't act out the way they act. People don't snap just because they snappers. People aren't mean just because they were born. We didn't come out the womb mean. We came out the womb smiling, breathing, and want to eat. Something happened. So when you turn around as a parent and you say those things to your child instead of being acceptive of what has happened and try to help them heal from this, then yes, that traumatizes the victim. Absolutely, Demario.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I got your name. All right. She said,
And then look, I see the young lady, she said that she reached out to somebody that was in the church. See, when something like that and your church doesn't help you at this time, it's time to find therapy outside of the church. Because sometimes the church can get messy. It becomes gossip, it's news, and you understand, and they get to talking about it instead of solving issues. A bunch of cackling hens sometimes in church. And your discernment should help you to understand that maybe I just need to go find a therapist. I would never go to the church on something that happened outside of the church with my child. I would definitely be finding a mediator, somebody that doesn't have anything to do with my side, the church side, or anything. Just what do you call it? A middle person, a mediator, a neutral person, somebody that hasn't done anything to nobody. Because at this point, your child does need some type of therapy or counseling to know that they can get through it. Now, when you do become an adult and you know these things have happened to you and you've been screaming for a long time and nobody is helping you, you've got to stop looking for the people that have not believed you, or they have shown you that they're not trying to help you. You have to stop leaning on them for help. You have to ask God for the strength to direct you in a way so you can get help. It's important that you don't give up that battle to find therapy. Therapy is real. I can't tell y'all no other way. And it's not just you sitting on the couch talking to somebody. If you find a real clinical, licensed person that is very clever with teaching methodologies or ways to deal with the mind and issues and how to cope, you have to find a therapist that has great coping tactics, because there's therapists out here that don't do their job. And you'll know that by your first therapy session and how good you may feel after your first therapy session. You should feel a relief. If you don't and you're still angry, you may need to find another therapist because they may not be able to help you. And Danae says therapist doesn't work for you. Well, sometimes in the beginning, therapy don't work because, when you first go through therapy, you have to get out what happened to you. So sometimes you can't even get it out, especially if you go through family therapy. You know how you have to sit there with your family and tell them what the hell they did? And then they in the circle saying that they didn't do it. And then before you know it, y'all all have a screaming match. And then the therapy session is over and you walk away mad as hell. See, you got to remember, it's a lot of things happening there. The people that you are telling them or accusing or letting them know you did this to me, they're having a hard time dealing with the effects of how it affected you. They're going to deny it. So the first few sessions of therapy tend to not feel so good. But if you stick in it and you therapize yourself and you really figure out what is the root of your issue and you walk through that pain, and when you're in that fire, you got to know God is with you while you're going through that. Because that right there, when you're going through that fire, reliving your past, reliving that moment, explaining it to your therapist, you want to give up and you'll say it's not
Exactly.
working. But you've got to go through the fire. I promise you. You're going to come out a winner. Your mind is going to be stronger. You're going to be more stable. Some people need medication. Some people say, I don't need it. I'm going to self-medicate myself. Some people say, I'm going to stick to working out. I'm going to stick to this plan. It works for me. But, even if you find a plan to cope with these issues, are you sticking to it? You just can't work out one day and then expect all your problems to go away. You can't go to therapy one session and expect all your problems to go away. This is a thing you have to put the work in. You've got to say, I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy. And if you decide and commit to that by any means necessary, you'll do the work. You got to do your work, babies. You got to do your work. And yeah, that did make you worse with the therapy. So that sometimes, again, when we're out here looking for therapy, we finally find a therapist. We'll probably put all our eggs in one basket. No, baby, remember, you're hiring somebody. That's your money. That's your hard-earned money. If you're not getting the services that you need from this clinical worker, you need to find someone else. Sometimes people can't afford therapy. They may have a neutral friend that has logic, that is stable, that you can listen to. So I always just advise somebody to find somebody. You'll be surprised. You can get therapy out of talking to a stranger.
That's true.
Some of y'all, Have you ever been on a corner and a hype or a clucker or a wino walked up to you and just had a conversation and said something from God to you? Or are you so clouded that you don't see the signs around you? Sometimes God is your therapy. He's teaching you something, but you're not paying attention because you're so clouded. Your mind is so clouded with what happened to you and how you feel about yourself. So when you're in that rut, it is important to get therapy, some type of therapy, man.
See, 407. She just followed me on Instagram. Let me see.
And
So we
again,
didn't even
therapy
pay for
don't work
this.
for everybody. Therapy don't work, but you have to want to put in the work. You've got to. That part. A lot of people say that they tried or they did things, and I'm not saying it to you, Nate. I'm talking about just people out there, period. But they really didn't give it they all. Just like relationships. They'll say, I give up on this relationship. I tried. And some people really didn't try. Like you working in a career and you give up, but you really didn't try. And sometimes people give up right before their breakthrough's about to happen. The answer is right there.
And a lot of people are saying they're really not getting feedback from the therapist. To be honest, and this may sound weird, there's only so much a therapist, hold on, there's only so much a therapist can do. A lot of times when we're dealing with stuff, we have to we have to do our best to make the next step. A baby, and this is the best analogy I can probably find. When a baby is learning to walk, you're gonna fall a couple times. The baby don't want to do it, but that's when the person is there to help pick them up and help their legs get strengthened so that they could walk on their own. And this is how you have to crawl before you walk, all this other stuff like that. The thing about it is this, that just like a baby, somebody's there to help you up, help you get strength, so you're able to move, able to do things. And so, wait, Miko, they said, pictures, my all was showing up. Hmm?
She's saying that her first step in therapy was just showing up. And that's what you did, Nate. That was your first step.
Right.
A lot of people don't even want to do that step.
What?
So
No, no,
that's a
no.
big hump.
But
Go
see,
ahead.
even like with Nate, the thing is, it's like, even just showing up, but then make the step to, and Nay and I have talked about it, just make a step to like forgive and get past it. Because a lot of people hold on to stuff. And even though rightfully so, but in order to be somewhat healing from it, you're going to have to work through this because you have to build yourself back up again. And it's hard to really say that to people. I feel like we're having counseling session right now. It's hard to say that to people because you're not telling them to get over it. You're telling them how to work through it. Because even though something like this traumatic has happened, honestly, you shouldn't stay stuck there because you'll live the rest of your life there and then it becomes something that torments you and you'll miss out on trying to enjoy life because of this incident. And honestly, people try to say, well, why did God? Hey, I'm not, in a lot of things, I'm not even blaming God for anything. I just blame fucked up people.
I'm going to lay something on you heavy, though. A lot of people don't know why they're born.
Right.
And when you find out why you're born, it's hard to accept it. I'm going to bring up George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
George Floyd's life was built on that moment, but it's hard to accept that. Some people were born to save somebody, to step in front of a bus, to help save somebody across the street. Sometimes people are not tapped in to know why you were born. You got to remember there's a creator. And he made you for a reason. You got Harriet Tubman was born for a reason. Barack Obama was born for a reason. Everybody that's been born got a reason, DeMario. Sometimes you may have to go through something so horrific with your parents, but it may be very well that same incident that wakes your parents up to realize what they done wrong. We can never see it because when you're going through it, you're the one that's been afflicted with the pain.
Right.
So it's like, how could this be of any of God? This can't be of God. But maybe this incident was made to correct somebody, and you just happen to be the person God used for that moment.
Anything.
In the Word, God said you got to be willing to die for me. That part. George Floyd's life was to pay attention to how they're being treated in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin and Minnesota, whatever, Minnesota. You understand what I'm saying? Like the lights are on. God has to show the world, hey, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. These incidents had to happen. For your benefit or for another person, you never know until you get out of the hurt and the pain and you look back at situations.
Right. Yeah, so I mean,
you got to want to do the work. If you've been through something and God allowed you to live through it, you've got to do your work. Because I know what it is to walk around with a chip off my shoulder. I know what it is to walk around angry all the time because these things happen to me. That stopped me from living. That stopped me from enjoying the sunshine. When it was sunny outside, I still felt like it was a rain cloud above my head. It pushed me to
you remember you telling me about how the person raped you and beat you and you ran through the city almost naked. You remember that?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, and I'm not trying to make it like anything particular, but like you had to pull yourself through that.
And a lot more other things.
And I mean, although your situation, I believe your dad came got you, right? A lot of people don't have that. And sometimes that's a person's reasoning too. They didn't have that. They didn't have somebody come get them. They didn't have somebody to rescue them. They didn't have nobody to pick them up. It was just them.
No, Nay, you don't have to reserve your comments, baby. It's not about being normal. What is normal?
Your child,
you show me one person that's perfect, baby. You're not in this by yourself.
Right.
You're not the only one that's feeling this way. You're not the only one that needs to voice that. You're not the only one that's dealing with issues, honey. No, you don't have to reserve your comments. You reserve the right to express yourself like anybody else. And I'm looking at Jazina, so lovely. She said, my sister saved the young boy. These guys shot him. He was running and saw it and seen where the boy ran to while they was looking for him. She was able to drive close to him and tell him to get in the car. Her sister saved somebody from being killed. That part, people don't realize why you were born. She was born for that moment to help that young man. We all want the good stories, but we don't want to hear that the person died for a cause. Martin Luther King died for a cause. See, everybody's born for a reason. And you won't see it coming. You're just out here, God give you free will to make your choices. Ooh, la-di-dee. And then before you know it, you might bump into somebody and notice somebody getting raped. What choice you gonna make? To walk by, play a blind eye? Or did God have you walk past that for a reason to do the godly thing, to report it, to get someone to help? You're born for that reason.
They said most people only have at least one. Try zero. It's true.
Queen C says most people don't admit to being suicidal because it gets thrown in their face and talked about it like a dog. That part. What you mean you gonna kill yourself? That's dumb. Da-da-da-da-da. And then you walk off and then they really do it. Come on.
But see, I remember when I was dealing with so much depression, like it wasn't that I wanted to go kill myself, but it was just thoughts.
Yeah, it was
Of like,
thoughts.
what can I do? You know, I'm tired of going through. And I made a post on Facebook. And I was talking about just wanting to get away from here. And I had people calling my phone. Why are you depressed? Look at you. God has been blessing. Da-da-da-da. And then I have folks, you know, want to, hey, let's go out to eat. Let's talk. You okay? You know, like somebody actually took out the time to say, hey, let's go hang out. Let's talk. What's up? Because I know you probably don't really want to kill yourself, but I know life is crazy. So you need somebody to talk to. And because at least I wouldn't know you, and we cool, let's go talk. Let's go hang out. See, people don't understand. Like, it's one young man on my Facebook, and every other day he posting messages. Somebody, I feel suicide today. I'm going to kill myself. Every other day, I'm going to kill myself. And you know, see stuff like that. And then he gets on, but I don't know. I really don't know. It's really weird because every situation, and I don't want to say case, but every situation is different. It's very different. And it's like, okay, how can I help you? Because I don't want to open that door and then it's just like,
some people are just gone and some people are just beyond gone. Some
yeah.
people use suicide as a way to just get attention too. But your discernment should tell you if somebody is real or not. Like, you see somebody standing up strong all this time, and then all of a sudden they just break down. Like, I just don't want to live. Now let's give this person a call. You know, then you got people that it's a habit. You know, those people, their family need to check them in. To me, because if you're steadily saying that, we don't know how to catch you. We don't know how to help you. So those people need to be underneath care. To me. But a lot of people, especially black folks, they ain't going to no therapist. They're not going to no crazy house. They're not going, no. Because see, like Queen said, you get talked about, you get dragged, you're crazy. You know, it's embarrassing. So people deal with their mental issues all alone by themselves. And they self-medicate.
They said, so when people don't do it right, then and there it's a joke. But when they do it, it's real. And okay. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. But I know what I want to say. It's not a joke. But when you offer people, I don't know. It's not a joke. I don't take it as a joke. I think when people say they will kill themselves, I don't take it as a joke. You know, I just feel like what you can do is reach out and try to figure out what's going on and help as much as possible.
And then sometimes you can't reach out.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's people that have convinced themselves that enough is enough. And we have seen too many suicide attempts that were successful.
Mm-hmm.
And people really did it. I keep thinking about the young man, what's his name? It began with a T. He was on here. He was making videos on YouTube. And he was going through relationship problems. One, I remember last year, he was going through the breakup and he moved into a new apartment or something. What was his name?
Oh, you talking about Ty Couture?
Yes.
Yep.
And he made a video, and all the people were throwing hearts and loving him and watching him, but nobody knew that he was really going through pain, and he made it up in his mind he was going to do it, and he did it. See, when people really are serious and they gone, they get quiet. They do it like they do it. You know, like you say, every situation is different. That's why it's important for us, people of God, to deal with this matter in such a delicate motion. Like, you cannot trigger them. You just got to find out if you are the one that's set up to do the work. You know, if you are trying to intercede on someone's behalf, if you feel devoted to help that person, there's things that you can do to ensure. Now, if you're not sure, I tell people all the time, call the authorities, get the authorities involved. Domestic violence and everything is real. If people are threatening that sometimes and they're not answering the phone and they're shutting down for real, sometimes people may have to go knock on the door. You're going to have to go tap on a window. You may have to bust a window and get in. You may just have to do that. Depends on how dedicated you are at the work of helping suicidal victims. And in this day and age, I think there should be a suicide ministry to catch these signs, to help people to cope, because that's what people are trying to do when they're thinking about suicide. They have nothing, they don't know what to do.
That's true. That's really true.
Mm-hmm. And the Queen says depression and anxiety gets you labeled as crazy. Thank God for the mother and best friend. Absolutely. When if you do have someone in your family and in your life that you can talk to, that is why you're blessed. You need to take a moment and just shout that you've got somebody to keep you on your P's and Q's. There's a lot of people that don't even have that
They
at
don't
all.
have
You
that,
will be
right?
surprised they don't have it.
And this is one reason why I do care, and I try my best to help where I can, is because I did have somebody there, like where that one pastor I was telling you about, where he could have more than likely took advantage of me when I was younger in my teens. I had somebody there who saw what was going on, felt something, and stepped in and intervened. Had an inkling that somebody was connected to this one and somebody was connected to that one. So I'm gonna make a phone call. So this don't happen. I did have somebody who was there. Now, because I had somebody who was there, I do my best to be there for people who have gone through or who possibly could go through. Because I'm gonna tell you something. With that same preacher I was telling you about, he got a hold to my brother's brother and so many young men. Now, honestly, that could have been me. That could have been me. But I do care about the people that this has happened to. And the only thing you can do sometimes, even because we were young at the time, like, really young. I think we were just starting to get vehicles and carrying on. And even though for me, I told my god brother what was going on and I said something to him, I wasn't able to save his brother because I knew about my brother going around. But because my brother was going over there and his brother was going over there, I was able to save one, but I couldn't save the other one because I didn't know. And so what didn't happen to him actually happened to the other one. And the other one went through a whole lot of crazy stuff. And like, I really hate that happened to him. Because really, for real, I ain't gonna say he's crazy, but he just kind of it did some things to him. And again, I was able to save one, but I couldn't save the other one. So even now, today, the only thing I can do is just we talk. We talk, and sometimes we talk about, laugh about certain things, but it just take you just being just your presence, phone conversation. May not be a long phone conversation, but just pick up the phone and say, hey, you all right? You good? Okay. Just call and check on you. How your day been, all that kind of stuff. Just, again, may not be a long phone conversation, but just do that. Because somebody just want to know, after every crazy thing that I've gone through, is somebody going to be there for me? Is somebody going to show me some love? And that's honestly all you can do.
Yeah, that's all you can do. And you don't know what people go through. Queen said that when she lost her career, there's a lot of people, suicidal thoughts. Here it is. She probably devoted herself to the I think was she in the Marines or Air Force, and she's fighting for our country. This is a black woman, and her career ended, and she felt like they treated her like an outcast. So I could just imagine what she and many other women and men that have their careers ended and they have devoted and been loyal to a company or a country, and they treat you like an outcast. And I can imagine what she's going through. Everybody has a story. That part.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a limit too. And everybody has the capability of snapping or going through something. And sometimes people don't exert their energy or their anger or their frustration. Sometimes they internally deal with. They take it out on themselves. And then some people grow up angry. Like something happened to you and you just straight up mad. You mad all the time. You angry all the time. You snapping all the time. Everybody deals with their issues differently.
Do
And
you
you
remember? Okay, so last year, I believe it was last year, when I had to go to San Antonio, and after I came back from San Antonio, I had to deal with all that foolishness. You remember
mm-hmm.
that? So one of the main ladies who was the ringleader, which this girl, she had all type of issues. It was like she was having some type of ancestral relationship with her son. She was raped by, I think, her brother or something like that, and her dad. It was just a whole bunch of dynamics going on there. And to be honest, when I first found out about all this was going on, I just simply got online and I just tried to make some nice comments, some sweet comments, just to just be nice. And that person flipped it around as if I was being sarcastic and trying to be smart with them, and thought I was doing something really crazy. And I thought about that thing when we was talking, and it's like some people, A, don't want the help, B, refuse the help, and sometimes it's
or C, don't wait for the help to work.
right, and then they turn around and start lashing out. So it could be don't want the help, start lashing out, uh, trying to hurt somebody else because they're hurting. It's a lot of things going on. And I mean, she had pissed me off one time so bad that I just had to come back at her. And for 4 hours, I read her real good because I'm like, you don't like me because I've been out here helping people. And you may want to come talk to me. But because you got hate in your heart because of something that's going on, you're going to forever be this mean, evil person trying to see other people hurt. And that's exactly what happens. And so it's like you didn't been hurt by this one, that one, and the third. So then now you didn't pour that abuse in on your son, and you and your son having relations and carrying on, doing all kind of stuff. You want to see your son dance around in naked cow suits and carrying on foolishness. It's just all weird. And then it's like somebody who is actually doing something for somebody, you hate them because they're a positive light and they're doing something. And this goes on. This actually happens.
Yes, it does. You know, look at Queen when she said she lost a job. She said that basically she was grieving. She lost her father to cancer. And her officer told her that she needed to get over it. And maybe that was the wrong thing he said to her at the wrong time. See, again, her officer, he didn't have God in him at that time to hear the God in her, that she needed just a moment. And she said not even a month later after his funeral, things went crazy. You understand? Um, that is a good testimony there, Queen. Maybe God built you to talk about how to deal with mourning. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. What it is to cope with your father, your mother, your parents passing.
Just the death of a loved one.
The death of a loved one. Maybe your walk was meant for you to just go through what you need to help somebody else.
And
Even
that
though you
sounds
were,
crazy too, Miko. That
mm-hmm.
sounds crazy too. You know, you go through, why am I going through to help somebody else?
Because
I
that's
mean,
the will of God. See, that a lot of people don't know that. The
well,
will of God
here's
is
the
not
thing.
for you to be a millionaire. The will of
Without
God
adding God in
is
there,
to help people.
without adding God in there, and I want to help for some folks who don't, believe. It's like you go through some things because some things you can handle, you can take, like you're strong enough. Like I've dealt with death, just like boom, 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 and it's like, okay, I don't break down. I'm able to withstand. I'm strong, and I'm able to be strong for somebody else. Period. Or it could be like in my case, I got to deal with family drama and carrying on. But probably nobody else in the family could be able to deal with that because they probably broke down, had suicide, and want to go do something crazy. I really believe a lot of times that a lot of things happen to us because we're able to take it and we're able to go through and we're able to help somebody else pull up. But even the strong, this is the truth. Even the strong, somebody
Yes.
pick them up from time to time.
Yeah, the strong can get weak and the weak can get strong. That part. Everybody's not strong 24/7 a day, but yeah, you're right, Demario. I'm sorry I inserted, but I was just, I wanted to talk about that will of God. A lot of people confused. The will of God wants me to be rich. The will of God, the will, the God. God's whole thing is to help his people. You're not going to be here forever. So what you go through, you're supposed to pass down to help the future, to help people. That's the whole purpose, to help each other. It's not to be rich and show out on each other. This thing is to help each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, everybody. We're going to try to wrap this up. We have been on for a long time. And I really
Mhm.
hope you guys are really getting some out of this. These are our stories and things that we really, for real, have gone through. And we do our best to become helpers to many people on our platforms because, again, you never know what somebody's going through. You never know what somebody's dealing with. And so we take our stories, whether they're funny, whether they're sad, whether they're depressing, whether they're like, oh my God, did you really? Yeah, like we take our stories and we talk about them. Miko talks about her stories all the time. We take our life and we share with other people that other people may gain strength. And what, even though we may not be able to physically touch you, help you, or whatever, like hopefully our stories and us coming through is able to help you get through your situations. Because honestly, y'all, like we got so much stuff we can tell y'all, and we still here. Like Miko got her own story in her own way. She talked about being abused earlier. She's still here. She making it. Now, don't get me wrong. She has her moments because she's like, why did this have to happen to me? But she's still here. And she constantly reminding people, hey, you got to live. You got to live. I'm a clear example. And even the same thing with me, like just stuff I've gone through. You going to make it. And we that are strong, we become the bearers of those that are weak. We help other people get up off their feet or get on their feet from time to time, and just put some encouragement in them, so that people can know that if I can make it, you can too. We know it's not that simple. We know it's not as easy as 1, 2, 3, but you can make it.
Yeah, you definitely could make it. And I just want to say that if you are out there struggling with issues, be committed to do your own work. Don't rely on man to help you fix these issues. Only God and you know what it is that you need to do to make it all right for you.
Right.
And I thank you, Demario. But I do tell my stories, and you guys can find me on Facebook and you just go through my videos and just listen to some of my stories. You will hear, I'm going to make you laugh, I'm going to make you cry, but
Don't
I'm
get cussed
here.
out.
You're going to get cursed out. But I put my life on public to show women like me, to show people that come from where I come from and men that you can go through some things, but you can still stand. You can still breathe. You can still achieve. You can still dream. You can still love. And if anybody's been following me, I've been through hell and back just
Mhm.
in the last 4 years alone, let alone my life, where started with my mother throwing me in a garbage can. So some of y'all don't know my story, and everybody has a story. My story is no better than yours. The thing is that we find God in ourselves and in others. Share these good old stories. Talk about these stories and help somebody to cope through it. So I thank you for allowing me to come on Demario's platform today. And again, we just want to kind of prep you guys to get ready for some of these powerful, powerful, mind-blowing stories that Demario's getting ready to do this week. Thank you, Demario, for allowing me to come on.
You are welcome. I love you.
I love you, Monique.
So listen, y'all. We getting ready to go. Wednesday, coming up Wednesday, we're doing this live interview with a lot of the victims. So make sure you all save your notifications and things like that, and make sure you set your reminders and stuff, because we're gonna come back and we're gonna have a whole lot of stuff to say. On Thursday, we'll be talking to Andrea Bentley, who has a story to share. And through this pandemic, her church was gone, lost her church. She gonna tell y'all how what happened with her and stuff like that. Powerful story. She is Sierra, the one from Love and Hip Hop. That's her spiritual mother, and they do have videos and things like that on Facebook and stuff. But she has a story to tell too. So hopefully, see you guys on Thursday and Friday. You guys, we're gonna be back with the Kings. Okay. So listen, love y'all. Want y'all to have a great day. And y'all keep supporting the platform. Cash App, Demario, $ Demario Jives, PayPal, was it PayPal, Zelle, all that stuff. Y'all can do all of that. Thank you so much, you all. Love you guys and talk to you soon.